Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Many children, many blessing, start as Invincible by Detoxifying My Sister-in-Law. Chapter 21. When An Yingxiang used his martial Dao Grandmaster's strength to secretly listen to the conversations in the courtyard, he was speechless. He laughed heartily, knowing that this matter had become a reality, and tomorrow would definitely be a spectacle in Great Harmony Town. At the same time, An Yingxiang began to investigate what preparations the Lu and Wang families had made this time. Although he did not inquire about any other actions from the Lu and Wang families, he discovered that they had already started to find the most beautiful eligible women from their respective families. For a moment, An Yingxiang became even more delighted and immediately returned home to prepare. The only thing that made An Yingxiang feel regretful was that, for some reason, Luo Chengkong, the mayor of Great Harmony Town, did not show any signs of involvement. The Luo family also had no actions. This made An Yingxiang's face darken. Tongfu Inn. After sending Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng away, Tian Lao, with his white beard, suddenly twisted his previously kind-looking face. He stretched out his hand and slapped his face, completely tearing it off. Upon closer inspection, it turned out that this face was fake. He had used a clever disguise, even his white hair was fake. After his face was completely revealed, there was a scar running across his right cheek. This person had a fierce look on his face, exuding the aura of a martial Dao Grandmaster, with occasional fluctuations. Soon, he stood up, gritted his teeth, and let out a cold laugh. Wang Deyang has been gone for several days and has not returned. That day, after he went to An Mansion, he never came back. It seems that he perished in An Mansion. Perhaps An Yingxiang went mad this time and tortured his third son, and Ming Yuan, to death in the water dungeon, all because of Wang Deyang. Wang Deyang must have discovered something. Perhaps An Miaoyi is really hiding in An Mansion. Although my son and I don't have spirit roots, we have obtained an evil cultivator spell. Maybe we can enter the Dao through martial arts. If we can't accomplish this, my son and I can rely on the devouring technique of that evil cultivation. After being tested by that treasure, An Miaoyi undoubtedly has a special physique. So we must capture her. I can't wait any longer. Moreover, An Yingxiang, that old immortal, is highly likely to be mentally disturbed. Even if he's not, killing An Ming Yuan won't affect his emotions, right? In any case, this time I will ambush An Yingxiang. When he is most pleased with his beloved grandson's wedding and his own achievements, I will kill him and directly take An Miaoyi away. Yes, that's what I'll do. This Tian Lao was none other than the sect master of the small sect, Scorching Sun sect, Nangong Tian. He used the disguise technique to impersonate Tian Lao, which is why Wang Deyang went to the An family's residence several days ago, leading to Lin Yi's absorption of the successor's inheritance and marrying An Miaoyi. Seriously speaking, Lin Yi really had to thank him, but when it came to killing him, he had to do it quickly and make him suffer less. In the blink of an eye, the next day arrived. There are many people in Great Harmony Town who are eager to get up early and prepare their own daughters or suitable marriageable girls among their relatives and friends. They dress up beautifully one by one, wearing brand new clothes, looking very pleasing to the eye. Everyone starts to set off. The farther away they set off, the earlier they leave. After these people have all set off, they immediately discover at the street corner that the people who were shouting yesterday, saying not to let the marriageable girls from the other family go to An Mansion, are now here. Suddenly, everyone on the street is dumbfounded, staring at each other. Everyone starts to curse. Yesterday, you didn't say that. Yesterday you said you wouldn't let your daughter go to An Mansion and marry that grandson that old master and likes. I say, Brother Joe, didn't you also say yesterday not to go and marry? What's going on? PFF'd, You people are really shameless, I'm ashamed to be associated with you. Amidst the arguing and shouting, everyone acts even faster. So many people are heading towards An Mansion. There are too many competitors, who knows if anyone will be able to marry over there. When this group of people is busy walking, some suddenly notice that even some single widows, with their waists swaying like water buckets, dressed up and are also heading towards An Mansion. There are even some women who haven't married for various reasons and have countless freckles on their faces, as well as old ladies, doing the same. This is simply a big joke. Today, without a doubt, is the liveliest day in Great Harmony Town. Just as the sky is getting bright, these people have already gathered at an mansion, blocking the area in front of the gate so tightly that no water can pass through. Among them, some women with peculiar appearances and advanced age are particularly eye-catching. Facing the strange gazes of many people, these people are not ashamed, but rather proud. Maybe old Master Anne's grandson just happens to like us. It's really too lively outside. But when the Liu family and the Wang family bring dozens of girls here, with their good looks and graceful figures, they immediately attract the attention of many people. Even those shameless old ladies can't help but feel envy and jealousy on their faces. After An Yingxiang returned yesterday, he had already reported this news, making Lin Yi feel that his opportunity had come. In the evening, he compensated his first wife, and Miao Yi, and both of them consolidated their cultivation. Today, Lin Yi changed into a new outfit. After bidding farewell to An Miao Yi who stayed in the cave, he appeared behind Mr. An and arrived at the entrance of An mansion, waiting for the guests to arrive. Especially the people from the Liu family and the Wang family. It didn't take long for Lin Yi to see a scene of a huge crowd. The first ones he noticed were some people from the Liu and Wang families who made way for them unconsciously. Lin Yi could feel that these people deliberately emitted an aura belonging to martial artists. At the same time, Lin Yi's gaze fell on the women accompanying these formidable individuals. These women were either petite and delicate or tall and imposing, but all of them had excellent looks. Soon, Lin Yi's gaze shifted, and when he saw several middle-aged or elderly women smiling at him, his heart couldn't help but skip a beat. In the end, Lin Yi made a decision, regardless of whether the descendants could make him stronger or not. If these women could also score above 80 in terms of overall value, he would definitely not reject them. Lin Yi whispered in An Yingxiang's ear, "Grandpa An, have you seen those women? Although I marry and take concubines for cultivation purposes, I can't tarnish the reputation of our An family. So, if they don't have good looks, don't let them in." An Yingxiang was a little embarrassed. After he saw those people, his face turned pale. He nodded in response to Lin Yi's words and then looked into the distance. "Nonsense. The suitable women mentioned are about the same age as my grandson. My grandson is handsome and also a martial artist. Are you worthy?" For those who didn't meet the age or appearance requirements, they quickly ran away in fear. An Yingxiang pointed to the An family members behind him who were looking at Lin Yi and said, "Why don't you maintain order?" Hearing An Yingxiang's words, the An family members responded continuously. Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng led Tian Lao and others who had already arrived. The two of them raised their hands and saluted An Yingxiang. "Congratulations, Mr. An, on having a grandson. Congratulations." An Yingxiang also returned the salute. Then, everyone's gaze focused on Lin Yi. Some of the An mansion's family members, under the protection of An Yingxiang, didn't dare to say much and could only arrange other things. The Wang and Liu families, as well as some members of other families, eventually approached and exchanged pleasantries with Lin Yi one by one. "Young and promising, I didn't expect you to be a martial artist. Not bad, not bad. Lin Yi, right, congratulations, I brought my daughter today. Ha ha ha, from now on, my daughter will marry Lin Yi. I am a generation younger than Mr. N." Wang Qiangzhan, Lu Feng, and others also exchanged a few words with Lin Yi. However, An Yingxiang only mentioned that Lin Yi was a martial artist and didn't say anything else. This made them believe that at this age, Lin Yi was at most a third-rate martial artist. An Yingxiang laughed heartily, "Thank you all for coming to celebrate. Today is not only the day I recognize my grandson, but also the day my grandson Lin Yi meets all the young ladies and takes wives and concubines. I am happy, and family has prepared some wine, please enjoy." While Lu Feng, Wang Qiangzhan, and others congratulated and laughed, they entered the An mansion. They were also a little surprised until their gaze fell on Tian Lao, then they felt more at ease. After entering the mansion, Lin Yi was not in a hurry to marry and take concubines. Instead, he became eager to test the descendants' comprehensive scores to see if these people had a score above 80. Surprisingly, besides the women brought by the Liu and Wang families who had good looks, there were also such women from other small families, including ordinary families. Lin Yi took a rough look and found that there were at least 20 women who met his aesthetic standards. Although he couldn't obtain useful information from the descendants' comprehensive scores, Lin Yi firmly believed that appearance played a significant role in the scoring. If the appearance was not good enough, not only would they not pass his standards, but they probably wouldn't even pass the descendants' comprehensive scores. Women whose comprehensive scores didn't reach 80 points were of no use to Lin Yi unless they truly loved each other. As Lin Yi thought about this, Mr. An introduced the people present to him one by one. Wang Qiangzhan, Lu Feng, and others. And Yingxiang also noticed Tian Lao. Among the introductions by Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng, Tian Lao was an alchemist, which caught An Yingxiang's attention. When toasting to him, An Yingxiang also said some flattering words, but it was just a little more than usual. An Yingxiang, who was now only concerned about Lin Yi becoming powerful, didn't care about anything else. This attitude surprised Wang Qiangzhan, Lu Feng, and others. Wang Qiangzhan, Lu Feng, and others looked at each other with confusion in their eyes. An Yingxiang's behavior completely puzzled Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng. What is going on with An Yingxiang? As we all know, the status of an alchemist is extremely high. Throughout one's life, from birth to death, the only person who can diagnose and treat you is a physician. But alchemists are even more powerful than physicians. While ordinary physicians only treat ordinary people, alchemists can target martial Dao practitioners. The pills and elixirs they refine are indispensable for martial artists. Even alchemists among these martial Dao practitioners have connections with some small cultivation sects. Some alchemists have reached the highest level of alchemy and, if they are lucky enough to have the potential for cultivation, such as possessing a spirit root, they may be able to cultivate and become an alchemist. These alchemists, as well as qi refining masters and talisman masters, are all highly respected among cultivators. In the introduction, they clearly stated that An Yingxiang is an alchemist almost on par with Wang Deyang. According to reason, An Yingxiang would definitely not treat Yun Lao like this. But now, when An Yingxiang toasted, although he said a few respectful words, it was evident that he didn't really care. What is going on with An Yingxiang? Thinking about this, everyone concluded that An Yingxiang must have some serious mental issues to disregard such an alchemist. Wang Qiangzhan, Lu Feng, and others couldn't help but change their expressions. There were already dozens or even hundreds of guests present, all of them prominent figures. Only a small portion were ordinary people without any worries. Apart from the ordinary people, the Wang and Lu families, as well as other clans, were somewhat suspicious. Nangong Tian's expression changed. He didn't expect that after An Yingxiang toasted and said a few words, he would leave with Lin Yi. His usually calm face turned dark for a while. Anger surged within him. He thought An Yingxiang and his grandson would flatter him, but he didn't expect them to leave so casually. Fine, you can leave. I'll see how I'll deal with you later. Unable to contain his anger, Nangong Tian emitted a powerful aura. No one else noticed. After toasting everyone, Lin Yi had already met everyone he needed to. Lin Yi had now reached the first stage of qi refining, so he was quite sensitive to the aura of martial Dao grandmasters. After all, those auras would disrupt the surrounding spiritual energy. For a moment, Lin Yi turned his head and glanced at Yun Lao. Yun Lao closed his eyes and looked at Lin Yi as he approached, furrowing his brows. What's wrong, Lin Yi? And Yingxiang turned around and asked. Lin Yi smiled and said, nothing. In Lin Yi's heart, he had already noted down the name of this so-called Yun Lao. On my joyous day, you dare to show me a bad face. It seems you prefer punishment over toasting. The aura just now should belong to a martial Dao grandmaster. Unexpectedly, this Yun Lao's strength is even higher than An Yingxiang's. But Lu Feng, Wang Qiangzhan, and the others did not reveal Yun Lao's identity as a martial Dao grandmaster before. It's interesting, very interesting. A playful smile appeared on Lin Yi's lips. Nangong Tian had no idea that he had already caught Lin Yi's attention. Like everyone else, they had no idea of Lin Yi's current strength. Otherwise, Nangong Tian wouldn't be so confident and dare to act so arrogantly. In the mayor's mansion of Great Harmony Town, Luo Chungkong's face turned pale. In front of him stood a young man in his 20s, showing him a sign. The aura emanating from the young man was so oppressive that Luo Chungkong, who was only at the first stage of the acquired realm, could hardly breathe. I believe you, immortal, you are the true immortal of 100 Flowers sect. But I still can't believe it. In the future, everything will change, and there will really be more demons and monsters. Beside the young man, there was a slightly older woman, mature like a blooming flower, with a radiant presence. She exuded a mature charm, but there was no trace of seduction. With a well-proportioned figure, she looked at the young man and furrowed her brows. With a smooth face, rosy complexion, and delicate skin, she wore a robe with the emblem of 100 Flowers sect. Frowning, she opened her cherry-like mouth. Enough, nephew. Mayor Luo is just expressing some reasonable doubts. There's no need to go this far. Hearing her words, the young man, full of arrogance, snorted, Auntie, I understand. However, Luo Chungkong, you dared to doubt me, so you should be punished. I'll spare you because of my aunt's face. After speaking, the young man walked to the side and sat down at a nearby table. He picked up the chopsticks on the table and started eating and drinking. Pitui, 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 these herbs in the dishes are really terrible, they're all rubbish. Eating too much of this kind of garbage will impede my cultivation with impurities in my body. After speaking, he looked at the pot of wine again. This pot of wine is passable, it should be made from tiger bones that have been aged for several decades. Luo Chungkong had a bitter expression on his face. I'm sorry, immortal, this is the best thing I can offer. A mature and elegant woman shook her head and said to Luo Chungkong, don't mind him, Mayor Luo. We will be relying on you in the future. Shortly after Cottonwood City, my sect will also send disciples to guard Great Harmony Town and its surroundings. In the future, this will become the norm. 100 Flowers sect will establish a joint defense mechanism to prevent and minimize casualties in case of demon invasion. This is the order from our sect leader, as well as the leaders of 2 other sects in the Great Summer Kingdom. It applies to the entire Central State region. Luo Chungkong trembled a bit and asked, Fairy, may I ask why? Why are there demons and evil spirits invading our Central State? Are they coming from the sea or somewhere else? The mature beauty's eyes suddenly turned cold. The problem comes from the northern wilderness. The largest barbarian nations in the north have gathered millions of barbarian warriors to invade Central State. There are also sects like the barbarian sect involved, trying to take advantage of the chaos. Countless demons and evil spirits have been driven out from the wilderness, causing great disorder in Central State. Now, the 3 major kingdoms and 12 small countries in Central State have joined forces with the 3 major sects. Except for the indifferent Joyous Union sect, everyone is involved in the war. The 3 major sects have gathered many powerful cultivators. Do you understand how serious the situation is now? That's why 100 Flowers sect is sending us cultivators to guard every inch of land. The war is intensifying, and it will become the norm in the future until a winner is decided. So, in the future, cultivators will control a certain area to prevent accidents from happening at any time. But don't worry, we cultivators will assist the officials of the government. Hearing this, Luo Chungkong felt weak in the legs. The previously peaceful Central State and the northern barbarians were actually going to fight. And so many demons and evil spirits were released from the northern wilderness. Most importantly, the powerful cultivators from the barbarian sects were also involved. Under the splitting headache, Luo Chungkong's face turned pale. He forced a smile and shook his head. Fairy, don't joke around. How can we let you assist us? You are noble and can protect us ordinary people from harm. If there's anything, just give me your orders. Hearing Luo Chungkong's words, the young man who was drinking laughed. You finally know what's good for you. In the future, you can assist in managing those ordinary people, but in the vicinity of Great Harmony Town, everything is under the control of my aunt. My aunt's name is Xiao Maifeng. From now on, all you ordinary people in the nearby areas and any so-called martial Dao experts will be under our control. Also, any valuable treasures must not be kept for personal use. Contribute them immediately. As the young man spoke, he drank several more mouthfuls of wine. Luo Chungkong nodded repeatedly in agreement. And the mature beauty Xiao Maifeng, whom he mentioned, did not refute this time. Make sure to report any anomalies or signs of monsters and demons to the people under your command as soon as possible. Notify me immediately if you discover any potential threats, so that we can prevent these monsters from causing chaos and slaughtering the people here. As for my presence here to assist you in managing this area, keep it a secret for now. Don't spread the news until the higher-ups have finished studying whether or not to make it public. Seeing Luo Chungkong's displeased expression, Xiao Maifeng couldn't help but smile. Don't worry, People like us cultivators are mostly focused on improving our cultivation. We don't have much time to get involved in worldly matters. So, you will be in charge, and I will assist you. I won't interfere too much here, and I won't stay in Great Harmony Town all the time. The place I choose for cultivation is different from where you worldly people, including martial cultivators, practice. I need to choose a place with abundant spiritual energy, so there's no need to worry. Although Xiao Maifeng said this, Luo Chengkong didn't think so. However, he didn't dare to say anything contradictory and continued nodding. Soon, after Xiao Maifeng and the young man left, Luo Chengkong slumped in his chair, took several deep breaths, and finally shook his head with a look of despair. I was planning to send the eligible women from the Luo family to An Mansion. At the very least, I couldn't offend An Yingxiang. But now, it seems like it's not worth it. It's all fleeting. In the future, all territories will be allocated to cultivators. Where will there be a way for ordinary people to survive? We can only struggle to survive. Luo Chengkong no longer had any intention of attending the banquet at An Yingxiang's mansion. At this moment, Lin Yi, who had already become a cultivator, was eagerly waiting in a room next to the meeting hall, his eyes shining, waiting for the beautiful women who could continuously give him rewards to come one by one. I must score at least 80 points in the comprehensive evaluation. Only then will the future generations allow me to marry, take concubines, and have children with rewards. With 2 or 3 dozen women waiting to marry me, there must be a few suitable ones, right? Lu Feng and Wang Chang, who originally thought An Yingxiang had gone crazy, realized that there were no ambushes or traps. It wasn't a Hongmen banquet after all. Instead, they soon found themselves being asked to bring women from their respective clans to meet An Yingxiang's grandson for matchmaking. They were a bit speechless and felt that An Yingxiang and his grandson Lin Yi had gone a bit too far this time. They really selected 2 or 3 dozen women to participate in a group blind date. Not only did they feel uncomfortable, but the other dozens of women waiting to be married also showed a hint of strangeness on their faces. Most of these 2 or 3 dozen women came from the Lu and Wang families. Standing among the other small clans and ordinary families, they exuded a distinct sense of elegance. After all, the women from those small clans and ordinary families appeared somewhat shy, embarrassed, and frightened. However, they all felt that Lin Yi from An Mansion was going to marry so many women. It was a bit exaggerated. Nangong Tian's face, which was usually expressionless, remained gloomy. When others were chatting, Nangong Tian responded without much interest. Soon, Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng could sense that Nangong Tian was unhappy. No longer accompanying Nangong Tian in conversation, they began to wonder whether this would end well or not. At this moment, Nangong Tian looked to the side. When he noticed that some young people from the Lu and Wang families were looking at Lin Yi with unpleasant expressions, he had an idea. Ah, this is too ridiculous. To marry so many wives and concubines all at once, isn't it a bit arrogant? He's really treating himself as the great summer emperor or the emperor of another country. It's like choosing a concubine for the emperor. How many young people in Great Harmony Town can do this? Even if he is An Yingxiang's grandson, so what? A grandson is not the same as a biological grandson. Muttering continuously, Nangong Tian sighed again. I really envy young people like this. If I were young, I would also want to be so arrogant and do the same. But unfortunately, I'm not, and I'm also not pleased with what I see. Indeed, after Nangong Tian finished speaking, he noticed that Lu Feng, Wang Qiangzhan, and others had slightly off expressions, but there was no anger. However, it was not the same for those young people. Many young people from the Lu and Wang families had unpleasant expressions. Seeing this, Nangong Tian couldn't help but chuckle. Indeed, women and comparison were the driving force for young men. Thinking about this, Nangong Tian wanted to continue speaking, but suddenly realized that there was no need for him to provoke any more, as someone couldn't take it anymore. Even Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng, who didn't show any change in expression due to his words, couldn't handle it now, along with some more mature and composed individuals. The reason was simple. Right outside the hall, Lin Yi touched a Lu family girl's hand and then shook his head. That Lu family girl was very beautiful, a flower of the Lu family. After shaking his head, Lin Yi spoke, I'm sorry, beauty, there's no fate between us. I can only disappoint your kindness. And it didn't stop there. Nangong Tian was delighted to see that Lin Yi touched the hand of a girl from the Wang family. After touching it, Lin Yi had a regretful expression and said, "I'm sorry, there's no fate between us either. How about you try harder, maybe someday there will be a good fate between us." "Hooligan, you touched my hand and now you're not taking responsibility. How can you be like this?" This girl from the Wang family was even more beautiful than the girl from the Liu family. The girl from the Liu family didn't say much in response to Lin Yi's words, but her face showed a mix of blush and anger as she left. However, the girl from the Wang family boldly spoke up and said so. Lin Yi shook his head. "I'm really sorry, it's not up to me to decide. It's fate made me say this." Lin Yi's words were not wrong. Everything depended on the future generation's scores. The comprehensive scores that appeared inside had clearly shown Lin Yi that these people didn't exceed a score of 80. For example, this Wang Feifei, her comprehensive score was only 52. Although her looks were very high, what would happen if Lin Yi married her? It's completely useless. That's why Lin Yi refused. Not only did he refuse these two, but soon, Lin Yi's face was full of disappointment, feeling speechless. As for the comprehensive score of the descendants' records, I don't know what it's based on. Could it be that the descendants' records are based on spirit root? But clearly, sister-in-law and Miaoyi doesn't have spirit root. While Lin Yi was thinking like this, in front of him, there were a total of 28 eligible women, and Lin Yi had already rejected 16 of them. Only 12 remained. During this period, even Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng, no matter how good-tempered they were starting to feel a bit impatient. Not to mention the others. Even the remaining 12 eligible women, when they looked at Lin Yi, frowned. They also cared about their reputation, afraid that they might not be suitable in the end. As for the 16 women that Lin Yi rejected, many of them had anger on their faces. Even before leaving, if it weren't for An Yingxiang being there, it was estimated that they would curse even harsher than that fierce Wang family woman. They would even make a move and fight Lin Yi directly. After all, among them, several women seemed to have a high level of martial Dao cultivation. An Yingxiang had long come to Lin Yi's side when he saw that the fierce woman from the Wang family didn't look good, fearing that something might happen. Looking at An Yingxiang's worried look, Lin Yi didn't think much of it. Instead, Lin Yi felt that it was better this way. Because Lin Yi had long heard Nangong Tian speaking over there, but Lin Yi couldn't be bothered to pay attention to him. And Yingxiang coming to his side just prevented him from launching a sudden attack. It's not that Lin Yi couldn't deal with Nangong Tian, but the descendants' records test these women who can bring rewards to themselves. Lin Yi didn't have the leisure to pay attention to Nangong Tian's mischief. Deal with him after everything is settled. However, Lin Yi didn't want to take action, but there was something that forced him to do so. The sound of rubbing, one after another. After Lin Yi rejected some of the women from the Liu and Wang families, who he said had no fate with him, some of the young people from the Liu and Wang families couldn't bear it anymore. They all stood up, stopped drinking, and after a few rubbing sounds, they stood up and looked at Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng, their faces terrifyingly gloomy. Then they lifted their feet and walked towards Lin Yi. Behind them, Nangong Tian, with a disguised face, showed a cold smile. Soon, a murderous intent appeared in his eyes. He glanced in An Yingxiang's direction and then stood up. Lu Feng and Wang Chang, who were among the young people in their own families, did not move when they walked towards Lin Yi. Now that they saw Nangong Tian standing up, these people also immediately stood up. They quickly gathered around. An Yingxiang's face sank. "What are you going to do?" Lin Yi was about to examine the 17th woman. The woman's face showed a hint of reluctance and unwillingness. After she extended her soft hand, Lin Yi discovered that the descendants' record had changed. At this crucial moment, the descendants' record transmitted a message. Finally, Lin Yi encountered someone with a comprehensive score above 80. Touched to marry Wang Yuren, comprehensive score 87. When this score appeared, Lin Yi burst into laughter, causing astonishment among many people present. Even An Yingxiang couldn't help but look over. To be honest, An Yingxiang was also a bit puzzled. Because in An Yingxiang and An Miaoyi's discussion, their understanding was that Lin Yi possessed a special physique, and that kind of physique was actually acceptable to normal women. But An Yingxiang found that Lin Yi had rejected so many young women over the years, making him think that Lin Yi was being too picky. You see, just before, there were several women from the Lu and Wang families who were very beautiful, but Lin Yi rejected them, which puzzled An Yingxiong even more. But now, when he saw Lin Yi laughing heartily, An Yingxiong knew that Lin Yi had finally made a decision. Could it be that after the pressure from the Lu and Wang families and many others, Lin Yi was a bit afraid? Only Lin Yi himself knew that everything was because of this comprehensive score. He looked at Wang Yuren and laughed. It's you, you're the one. I'll test the next one. As soon as he finished speaking, one of the Wang family members couldn't help but snort angrily. Do you still have a chance to test again? My cousin will never marry you. As soon as this young man finished speaking, Nangong Tian had already circled behind An Yingxiong, then burst into laughter and suddenly struck with a palm. This palm carried a tremendous force, with a loud bang, and the air seemed to echo. The young man from the Wang family who was speaking, as well as Wang Chang, Lu Feng, and others, did not expect Nangong Tian to suddenly make a move. This script doesn't seem right. They haven't made Nangong Tian make a move yet. Although they were now pressuring him because they felt that their family's face had been affected. Lin Yi had rejected too many female members of their families, but they didn't really want to resort to violence. Until they heard An Yingxiong shout, "How dare you!" After saying this, An Yingxiong's aura surged, and the sound of roaring like a bull kept surging within An Yingxiong. After that, they didn't know what to say anymore. Just because the aura emanating from An Yingxiong's body was surging, they believed that he was the Tianlao of their trump card. Unexpectedly, after a palm strike, the surging aura on An Yingxiong's body was shattered as if it were easily taken from a bag. An Yingxiong's body suddenly paused, followed by a change in expression, filled with disbelief. Wang Chang, Lu Feng, and others referred to the Tianlao known as the alchemist, who was able to instantly break through his defense. Martial Dao Grandmasters can use simulated attacks. Between the collision of simulated attacks, apart from other unexpected factors, one can judge the strength of the two individuals. An Yingxiong clenched his teeth. Just at this moment, An Yingxiong heard a voice, "Let me handle this." At the same time, a hand pressed against An Yingxiong's body. Everyone present was extremely surprised. All because of this hand, this sentence, all coming from Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't know when he had already arrived by An Yingxiong's side. Although it was only a few meters, one must know that when Lin Yi laughed and said he would marry Wang Yuren, he was still standing at the other end of the table. In less than the blink of an eye, Lin Yi had already arrived by An Yingxiong's side. How could others not be surprised? Soon, Lin Yi stabilized An Yingxiong's figure, and even more surprising things happened. An embarrassed expression appeared on An Yingxiong's face, as if he had lost face in front of Lin Yi. Well, actually, I can still exchange a few moves with him. When An Yingxiong spoke, Nangong Tian, who was slightly surprised, had a cold smile on his face. His body didn't stop, and with a swoosh, he had already arrived in front of Lin Yi. If you want to die in place of An Yingxiong, then I'll disable you first. While he was sneering, his palm struck before Lin Yi's face, carrying a gust of wind that blew Lin Yi's hair and clothes. Lin Yi just chuckled, then quickly extended a fist towards that palm. I ignored you and you're still eager. I've already seen that there's something wrong with you. The speed of this punch was even faster than Nangong Tian's. Bang! The next moment, after a cracking sound, there was a loud impact, followed by the sound of bones breaking. Looking again, in the eyes of Lu Feng, Wang Chang, and others, who were already powerful enough to crush An Yingxiong's Tianlao, his arm was already broken. At the same time, his body flew up like a kite with a broken string. Plop, plop, plop. A large amount of blood spurted out. With a bang, the Tianlao fell to the ground, struggling a few times before ceasing to struggle. A pair of eyes kept rolling, looking at Lin Yi in disbelief. The scene was extremely quiet, and you could hear a pin drop. No one expected that a favorite grandson of An Yingxiong could directly send the alchemist Tianlao, who was overpowering An Yingxiong, flying with just one punch. This is simply shocking. Some people even feel that they must be mistaken, that they are seeing things, and they can't help but rub their eyes. Because Lin Yi is too young. No matter how you look at it, it's hard to guess that his strength has reached the level of a martial Dao Grandmaster, able to defeat An Yingxiong and crush him to the ground. At this moment, Lin Yi came before An Yingxiong with a cold smile on his face. When the enemy is strong, I will be cautious. When the enemy is weak, I will be arrogant. And Yingxiong had previously released the aura of a martial Dao Grandmaster. Since he is not a cultivator stronger than himself at the Qi refining stage, why should Lin Yi be afraid of him? At this moment, Lin Yi noticed that something was not quite right. This guy was spitting blood, and the skin around his mouth was slightly raised. With a light, Lin Yi reached out and tore off that layer of skin. The scene of his face being torn apart did not happen. Instead, Lin Yi had a layer of skin in his hand that felt real. Nangong Tian's true face was revealed. Lin Yi shook his head, so it was a disguise. After saying this, Lin Yi turned around to leave. From behind, Nangong Tian coughed a few times, and a trace of blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. Do you know who I am? How dare you lay a hand on me? Lin Yi shook his head and didn't even look at Nangong Tian. What do I care about who you are? What does it have to do with me? Lin Yi no longer paid attention to him and looked at the stunned Lu and Wang family members. This is your doing. Now that you're acting like this in my mansion, do you have anything to say? If it weren't for the fact that he had touched Wang Yuren just now and sensed that Wang Yuren's overall score had reached 87 points, making her eligible to be rewarded as a wife or concubine for his descendants, Lin Yi would not have been so easy to talk to. Looking at Lin Yi, the originally stunned Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng and others didn't dare to say anything else at this moment. They were all stunned and looked at Yingxiong. Then, with a bitter smile on his face, he said to Lin Yi, "This really has nothing to do with us. We just thought that Lord N. According to the recent rumors, he might come after us, so we took precautions and found a martial Dao Grandmaster for protection." At this point, Wang Qiangzhan's gaze shifted and he said, "No, I would never bring this fake disguised Yun Lao here. How could I have known that he would make a move at this time? You see, someone like you, Lin Yi, who is like a dragon among men, is hard to find even with a lantern. How could I come to harm you, or even harm the family members related to you?" After speaking, Wang Qiangzhan walked up to Wang Yuren and took her hand, respectfully placing it in Lin Yi's hand. He directly referred to Lin Yi as his son-in-law. "From now on, son-in-law, I entrust Yuren to you. Look at the figure of my granddaughter, she will definitely bear children well, and she will listen to you." Seeing Wang Qiangzhan's behavior, Lu Feng really wanted to curse. This was simply a shameless scoundrel. As soon as things changed, he directly betrayed his own granddaughter. How can I possibly be beneath him? Lu Feng quickly beckoned to the remaining unmarried women of the Lu family, who were younger than him. "Come over here quickly and give your hands to Lin Yi. Let's see if Lin Yi likes any of you. Lin Yi, just like earlier, feel free to touch them." Wang Qiangzhan and many members of the Wang family couldn't help but stare at Lu Feng. Lu Feng, on the other hand, chuckled while stroking his beard, not feeling ashamed but rather proud. Many members of the Lu family smiled awkwardly and immediately spoke up, "Yes, yes, go quickly, go quickly." The few Lu family members who had previously been very dissatisfied with Lin Yi and had shouted loudly suddenly turned pale. They no longer had the arrogant and domineering demeanor they had before, completely turning into cowards with smiles on their faces. Looking at their appearance, it was clear that they regretted their actions. Soon, one by one, they became lackeys and went to their so-called cousins, bringing them to Lin Yi. They apologized repeatedly and said all kinds of flattering words. "Sorry, brother-in-law, we spoke too loudly earlier. Yes, brother-in-law, you see, I'm still so young. I haven't taken the right path, so that's why I acted that way. I'm doing this for the good of my sister. Please don't take it to heart. With a brother-in-law like me, you'll know how good our family upbringing is. We're a big family that loves and cares for each other. After marrying my sister, don't forget about me, brother-in-law." Lin Yi was very satisfied with the current situation. A peacock should spread its feathers, otherwise how could it receive such flattery? This was still without revealing his identity as a cultivator. Everyone misunderstood him as a martial Dao Grandmaster, which was why they acted this way. If they knew he was a cultivator, they would probably compete to kneel and flatter him. Lin Yi glanced around and noticed that there were still a few women from two other families who had looked fearful or angry earlier. Now, their eyes were shining as they looked at him, as if he were an object of admiration. When Lin Yi's gaze swept over them, these women, with graceful figures and beautiful faces, were all anxious. Apart from the Lu and Wang families, who had brought these women over, the other women were not to be outdone. Their eyes seemed to be able to draw silk and overflow with water. They rushed to Lin Yi's side, extending their delicate and fair hands. They actively sought Lin Yi's touch. There was no trace of restraint. The fragrance of these women lingered around Lin Yi's body. Lin Yi didn't pay attention to anything else and laughed heartily. All right, no need to rush. One by one, as long as we have fate, we will definitely be together. Lin Yi reached out his hand and continued to touch. The first one was eliminated with a total score of only 60 points, but her waist was very slender, making Lin Yi feel that he shouldn't let her go. Unlike before, this time she wasn't chosen. The woman didn't feel angry, but in an instant, she burst into tears. Woo, why don't I have the fate to be with Lin Yi? The second woman also cried because she didn't have the fate either. With a lower overall score of only 52, even though the woman had a delicate body and a typical soft and cute appearance, she made Lin Yi feel the urge to play with her. In this way, out of the 11 women, Lin Yi took a long time to select only 3. The lowest score among them was only 80 points. She was an ordinary rural woman. Looking at her attire, although it was also bright and beautiful, it lacked the colorful elegance of those silk garments and instead had a dull atmosphere. Lin Yi didn't refuse, as 80 points was still a good score. With this score, he would be able to receive a reward. Lin Yi selected a total of 3, which can be considered quite difficult. Among them, there was one woman from the Lu family, one from the Wang family, and one from an ordinary rural family. Apart from these 3 women, the scores of the other women did not exceed 80 points. While laughing loudly, Lin Yi shook his head at the women who were still crying and sighed. We don't have fate anymore. Lin Yi gave himself a score of 100 for this act. With the matter settled, and Yingxiang and the An family members had already arrived next to the old man. When An Yingxiang saw that Lin Yi had chosen his wives and concubines, he felt a little disappointed and approached Lin Yi. Lin Yi, did you choose too few? Don't worry, our An family has medicinal supplements. You are still an alchemist, right? With these medicines and so many wives and concubines, I believe your strength will definitely improve a lot. Do you want to? At this point, An Yingxiang glanced around and said in a low voice, do you want to marry all of them? An Yingxiang's voice was very low, but because he was close to Lin Yi and Wang Yuren and the others were around Lin Yi, they naturally heard it too. Of course, Lin Yi couldn't let them leave. They were all holding onto their hands, waiting for the 3 of them to agree to marry him, so that he could demonstrate his strength through descendants and prove himself. Lu Feng, Wang Qiangzhan, and the others also heard it. They were all dumbfounded. What? This is my grandson-in-law, he is still an alchemist. My goodness, is it true or not? An alchemist, is he even stronger than the old man? When Wang Qiangzhan and the others were shocked, the other clan members nearby also heard it. The more than 20 women who weren't chosen by Lin Yi, who were already crying, cried even harder. Apart from them, the other members of the remaining clans who weren't chosen felt as if the sky had collapsed. Such a good son-in-law, grandson-in-law, was gone just like that. Not only was he a powerful martial artist, at least at the level of a martial Dao grandmaster, but he was also an alchemist. Unfortunately, their daughters or female clan members didn't have such an opportunity to serve by his side. Someone couldn't take it anymore and started crying. The scene instantly turned into one of sorrow and weeping. And Yingxiang's words ignited a glimmer of hope in them. However, just as An Yingxiang finished speaking, Lin Yi shook his head and said, I won't marry, fate cannot be forced. Upon hearing Lin Yi's words, these people felt an immense heartbreak, and for a moment, the sound of crying filled the air. Lu Feng and Wang Chang frowned, and An Yingxiang looked around. All of these people stopped crying. The scene was cleared, leaving behind seemingly honest and simple rural women, as well as many members of the Wang and Lu families. The rest of the people went back with gifts, and An Yingxiang had the other members of the An family prepare generous gifts. It wasn't until now that An Yingxiang had the opportunity to see who the person was that dared to attack him and was later punched away by Lin Yi. When An Yingxiang saw that person, he was stunned. And Yingxiong waved at Lin Yi and had several members of the Yin family bring that person to the backyard, tightly bound and even using some metal wires to prevent him from escaping. How could Lin Yi leave? Lin Yi's gaze was fixed on three women, Wang Yuren, Lu Zixuan, and the rural girl Zhang Mingyu. Now, these three women stood there proudly, like proud mother hens laying eggs. Originally, each of them had a beautiful appearance and perfect curves, but in terms of temperament, they were slightly inferior to An Miaoyi and Qin Yao. Now, their arrogant appearance, surprisingly, gave Lin Yi a sense of conquest. Smirking, Lin Yi held Wang Yuren with one hand and Lu Zixuan and Zhang Mingyu with the other, pulling their hands together tightly. The two hands formed a posture similar to a sandwich, tightly holding these three hands. In Lin Yi's mind, the record of descendants began to rotate continuously. Clap, clap, clap. Amidst the sound, these three women appeared on the pages of the record of descendants, and behind each one, it showed, eligible for marriage and concubinage. Lin Yi felt that he couldn't wait any longer. He had to quickly obtain the reward. He directly asked, "Today, I am very happy to have the honor of meeting the three ladies. Ladies, we are about to become husband and wife. Are you willing to agree and let me marry you, becoming my wives?" Wang Yuren nodded happily, "I'm willing." Zhang Mingyu and Lu Zixuan nodded afterwards. "I'm willing to marry my husband. Husband, from now on, I will be your wife." Wang Yuren, Lu Zixuan, and Zhang Mingyu all agreed completely, their eyes fixed on Lin Yi with admiration and a hint of shyness. Each of the three women had their own unique qualities, and after revealing this touch of shyness on their faces, they exuded countless natural charms. Just like fragrant flowers waiting to be picked. Originally, in the hearts of everyone, their looks were slightly lower than those who had been eliminated. But at this moment, when the three of them stood there, inexplicably, everyone felt that the temperament of these three women was simply irresistibly adorable. And the more closely they looked, the more flavorful these three women became. Undoubtedly, they belonged to the type that could withstand the test of time. And all three women's hands were in Lin Yi's hands. Hearing their agreement, Lin Yi's expression couldn't help but change. The three women were very puzzled, wondering what was wrong with Lin Yi. Soon, as the three women worried in their hearts, afraid that Lin Yi would change his mind, Wang Yuren's face became tearful. You can't give up on us. We have all agreed to become your wives, especially me, Lin Yi. I like you, I want to become your wife." After Wang Yuren finished speaking, she directly pulled out one hand and extended both hands, embracing Lin Yi. Zhang Mingyu was a bit at a loss. No matter what, Lu Zixuan, who had been trained in various family conflicts since childhood, didn't hesitate. She sobbed and imitated Wang Yuren, hugging Lin Yi. The two delicate bodies embraced Lin Yi, and Zhang Mingyu gritted her teeth. Her extremely happy parents were now anxious, standing beside them and quickly shouting, "Hurry up and hug my son-in-law, you silly girl. What are you waiting for? Yes, Mingyu, what are you thinking? Go and hug him." Zhang Mingyu blushed, gathered her courage, and also stepped forward to embrace Lin Yi. Lin Yi now wanted to tell the three women that it wasn't necessary, but he was going through a change. There was no way. The descendants' genealogy had already issued the rewards that should be given after the three women agreed to become Lin Yi's wives. In Lin Yi's mind, the pages of the descendants' genealogy began to flip continuously. Page after page, constantly sketching. Just when he touched the three women earlier, their images had already appeared vividly on the pages of the descendants' genealogy. Almost instantly, the words, potential wives and concubines, that originally appeared on the pages of the three women had begun to change into, wives and concubines. Descendants genealogy. Marrying and taking concubines, 80 points for Zhang Mingyu, random reward of 5 years of cultivation for the host, random reward of 5 years of alchemy experience for the host, random reward of 5 years of lifespan for the host. Descendants genealogy. Marrying and taking concubines, 83 points for Lu Zixuan, random reward of 5 years of cultivation for the host, random reward of 5 years of formation refining experience for the host, random reward of 5 years of lifespan for the host. Descendants genealogy. Marrying and taking concubines, 87 points for Wang Yuren, random reward of 10 years of cultivation for the host, random reward of 1 sword intent comprehension for the host, random reward of 10 years of lifespan for the host. The 3 rewards were all activated at once. It must be said that there is a slight relationship between the comprehensive value score and the reward of the descendant's record. Marrying Zhang Mingyu, who scored 80 points, Lin Yi only gained 5 years of cultivation, 5 years of pharmaceutical experience, and lifespan, all of which are in the 5-digit range. But Lu Zixuan, who scored 83 points, not only gave Lin Yi 5 years of lifespan and cultivation, but also a new skill, 5 years of array refining experience. Although it is also in the 5-digit range, array refining experience is actually experience in formations. Unconsciously, Lin Yi's mind has gained a lot of knowledge about formations. What surprised Lin Yi the most was that Wang Yuren, who scored 87 points, could bring him 10 years of cultivation, similar to sister-in-law and Miaoyi. In addition to 10 years of cultivation, he also gained comprehension of sword intent and 10 years of lifespan. Adding everything together, at this moment, relying solely on these 3 wives, Lin Yi has already gained a total of 20 years of lifespan and cultivation, as well as 15 years of experience in pill refining. His experience in formations has also reached 5 years, and he has gained comprehension of sword intent once. In an instant, Lin Yi closed his eyes, and there was a sudden change in his body. Those changes in his body seemed fierce and not at all gentle at first. On Lin Yi's body, his robes kept fluttering. The 3 women embracing Lin Yi, Wang Yuren and the others, already felt that something was not right with Lin Yi's body. The next moment, Zhang Mingyu, an ordinary peasant woman without any martial Dao cultivation, was instantly shaken and flew into the air. After being shaken back a few steps, Wang Yuren and Lu Zixuan followed suit and were also shaken away. Fortunately, An Yingxiang and the others made a move. They prevented them from getting hurt. A trace of apology appeared on Lin Yi's face. This realm of sword intent made Lin Yi unconsciously want to use the Joyous Union sect's great unrestrained sword art that Qin Yao had left behind. But Qin Yao had said before that the great unrestrained sword art is a profound level low-grade formation and cannot be passed on to outsiders. Since there were still many outsiders present, Lin Yi put aside this idea. At the same time, as the sword intent surged, Lin Yi felt that his internal energy was starting to struggle. Through his recent discussions with sister-in-law and Miaoyi, he already understood what spirit root was all about. The so-called spirit root is actually somewhat similar to the Dantian in martial Dao cultivation. However, spirit root is like a thread of energy that permeates the body's cells, like blood and flesh, radiating throughout the body. It can be said that if a person has spirit root, their whole body is spirit root. The Dantian can only be the starting point, and then it can circulate throughout the body, using the energy generated by oneself to flow through the entire body. So whether spirit root is good or not is the key to cultivation. Because the whole body is closely related to spirit root, without spirit root, one cannot absorb spiritual energy or store spiritual power. Without tempering the physique in the body, one cannot improve one's strength and cultivation. Therefore, spirit root is extremely important. And at this moment, due to the increase in his cultivation, Lin Yi was able to feel the spirit root in his body more clearly. However, cultivators often spend tens or even hundreds of years in their cultivation. Some powerful cultivators, like those in the nascent soul stage, only need a short period of seclusion to reach this level of cultivation. Even though Lin Yi has increased his cultivation by 20 years, he still feels that his strength is not significantly improved. But one thing Lin Yi feels is that he has at least reached the 2nd stage of the qi refining stage. It's not easy. It took several days of hard work to finally break through. During those days of diligent cultivation, Lin Yi relied on the withered tree reviving spring technique within Miaoyi to improve his strength little by little. And now, he can feel that he has achieved this in just a short time, after marrying 3 wives. The dense spiritual energy in the air can be sensed more by himself. Unlike before, where he could only sense the particles of spiritual energy slightly, he couldn't feel how much there was. This indicates that he has passed the 1st stage of the qi refining stage and successfully reached the 2nd stage of qi nurturing. At the same time, Lin Yi also discovered that with wave after wave of energy flowing out from the books of his descendants in his mind, he felt that the flow of his internal energy had become denser. The spiritual energy is more abundant throughout his body. With his eyes closed, he can feel that energy throughout his entire body. This should be the sign of qi nurturing. He can slightly sense the spiritual energy within his body, as if he were looking inward. In Lin Yi's body, the Dazizai sword art is constantly being practiced. Lin Yi couldn't help but widen his eyes. Something doesn't seem right. Although he observed and practiced the Dazizai sword art before, it seemed that he couldn't comprehend many aspects of it. But now, because he has gained a deeper understanding of sword intent, he can clearly comprehend many secrets within the Dazizai sword art. It is actually practicing on its own. Although it is still far behind the withered tree reviving spring technique in terms of grade, because the withered tree reviving spring technique only becomes active when practiced with a partner, Lin Yi feels that the operation of the Dazizai sword art is now clearer. As he gently shakes his head, a surge of energy rises from Lin Yi's body. The people around him are in an uproar. What kind of aura is this? It's probably above the level of an innate grandmaster. This aura is too intense. Look, what is that? On Lin Yi's body, there are layers of sword aura. Many people speak up, showing surprise. Although Lin Yi did not actively activate the Dazizai sword art, under its passive influence, the energy on Lin Yi's body forms a sword-like radiance. Within Lin Yi's body, there are layers of silver-white sword radiance, constantly swirling. Those small sword radiance are as dense as hair. Only by staring closely can one see it. The sword aura, as dense as hair. Sword hair. Lin Yi actually grew sword hair on his body. It means that Lin Yi is definitely a sword art genius. A sword art genius without a doubt. Everyone was astonished. In an instant, they had already concluded that Lin Yi was a martial Dao grandmaster, a young alchemist, and the ones who felt the loss of Lin Yi were the women who hadn't left, their mouths pouting, on the verge of tears. The chosen members of the Wang and Lu families became more and more excited. The young people who had regret written all over their faces before were now praising Lin Yi as if they were being paid. I'm convinced. Brother-in-law is truly too strong. Yes, my brother-in-law is truly a deserving genius. He. I wonder if my brother-in-law has any spirit roots or something. When those sects come to recruit disciples, you should go, brother-in-law. You will definitely become a cultivator, and then I will have a cultivator brother-in-law. As these people discussed, and Yingxiang remained silent. His eyes were filled with shock, but more than that, they were filled with delight. The stronger Lin Yi became, the more advantageous it was for the Yin family. And Yingxiang had even completely let go of his worries. He was grateful to Lin Yi. Previously, he had been worried about Nangong Tian, the sect master of the Scorching Sun sect, but now he was bound and unable to escape, and Lin Yi had already injured him, breaking his arm. With no more worries, and Yingxiang had already relaxed a lot. However, he was a little worried if Nangong Tian had any secret moves up his sleeve. Now that he saw Lin Yi's strength increase, and even with Lin Yi using his special physique to marry 3 wives, he would become even stronger. And Yingxiang felt a sense of euphoria. Everything was stable, completely stable. After interrogating Nangong Tian later, maybe I won't have to worry about anything anymore. Just then, there was a hurried rush of footsteps as a member of the Yin family ran into the mansion, looking flustered. Following closely behind were several members from other families. After entering the Yin mansion, these people hurriedly ran towards An Yingxiang, Wang Qiangzhan, Lu Feng, and other members of the family. Lin Yi just glanced at them and quickly restrained his own aura, looking towards the 3 wives who had been pushed back in the distance. He showed a hint of apology. Sorry, wives. I couldn't control my aura just now. It's because I was too excited about marrying you all, and I had a small breakthrough. Lin Yi felt that the spiritual energy within his body was continuously growing layer by layer. The qi refining stage consists of sensing qi, nurturing qi, and expelling qi. After analyzing, Lin Yi knew that he had already reached the stage of nurturing qi, able to constantly feel the circulation of the spiritual energy within his body. At this moment, after Lin Yi finished speaking, Wang Yuren and the others had red faces, their fear had subsided, and they came to Lin Yi's side. Lin Yi heard them whispering in the ears of An Yingxiang, Wang Qiangzhan, Lu Feng, and others. Soon, the expressions of the 3 of them changed completely. Originally, many people were constantly praising Lin Yi, saying that he was a rare martial arts genius in many years. Some even said that Lin Yi, as a sword genius, could even join a sect of cultivation and might have a spirit root, becoming a cultivator in the future. But now, hearing Lin Yi talk about breakthroughs, flattery came one after another. However, upon hearing the news just reported by An Yingxiang and others, their faces changed drastically and they quickly looked at each other. In the end, these people waved their hands. The banquet was unexpectedly announced to be stopped by An Yingxiang. Lu Feng and Wang Qiangjian had no objections, but instead cooperated, letting their people leave this place and return to their own mansions. It's like this, my grandson has already chosen a wife today. I apologize for the inadequate hospitality. This banquet is almost over. Everyone, due to some sudden matters, the banquet ends here. Saying this, a trace of reluctance appeared on An Yingxiang's face. He showed a hint of sympathy to many people. This appearance confused many people. An Yingxiang spoke, when you go back, remember to be careful. Now, those who stayed in the An family mansion were the influential and prominent people, and many of the people who had previously broken in had whispered something to these influential people, causing them to see that the heads of their families, who had a say in the matter, had no objections to this matter. Soon, these people were about to leave, and some of them still had a frightened look on their faces. Lin Yi heard clearly what was going on. Demons had actually appeared in Great Harmony Town. People had already died in Great Harmony Town. The people who came in reported this news, which caused the faces of An Yingxiang, Wang Qiangjian, and others to change dramatically. In the end, they were just ordinary martial artists, naturally filled with boundless fear when facing demons. An Yingxiang looked at some people with sympathy for this reason. When many people had left, even the people from the An family were sent away by An Yingxiang. Those who should guard the gate guarded it, and those who should handle matters went out to handle them. Inside the entire courtyard, besides Lin Yi and the three newlywed wives, there were only An Yingxiang, Lu Feng, and Wang Qiangjian, the true powerhouses in Great Harmony Town besides the mayor, Luo Chengkong. After everyone else had left, An Yingxiang had the people from the An family guard outside this courtyard, with a bitter smile on his face. Both of you also know the news, right? The news that those people just reported, I believe it's the same as what my family reported. Lu Feng and Wang Qiangjian couldn't help but nod, their faces also filled with bitter smiles. Wang Qiangjian spoke, yes, the servants just reported that a demon was found in Great Harmony Town. After saying the word, demon, Wang Yuren and the other two women who didn't know about this news had their expressions change, their faces turning pale. Originally, they were filled with joy and shyness because they were going to marry Lin Yi, but now only fear remained. Lin Yi comforted the three women, saying, you don't need to worry. If a demon comes, I can easily defeat it with one punch. You can stay here with peace of mind for now. By the way, let's go eat some food. After Lin Yi finished speaking, he led the three women into the conference hall. Keeping the three frightened women in the hall, Lin Yi kissed their foreheads as they showed a hesitant and welcoming expression. Then he walked out and closed the door. Lin Yi approached An Yingxiang and the others. Lin Yi was feeling quite good now. Even if there were demons, he had nothing to fear. According to the information Lin Yi knew, this was the location of the 100 Flowers sect. Naturally, the sect would send disciples to deal with the demons. Instead of fear, Lin Yi was filled with anticipation. If the 100 Flowers sect sent some female disciples, he could take advantage of the opportunity to gain benefits. Great Harmony Town was too small. This time, it seemed like a public selection of concubines. The major families and ordinary people of Great Harmony Town brought the most suitable women. As a result, out of the 28 women selected, only 3 met the criteria for future heirs. The road to taking wives and concubines was long and arduous. Lin Yi relied on improving his cultivation. As long as there was an opportunity, he couldn't let it slip away. So, Lin Yi was really looking forward to it. The words Lin Yi said before sending the 3 women, Wang Yuren, inside the meeting hall made Lu Feng and Wang Cheng feel that Lin Yi was a bit arrogant. Although Lin Yi was known as a genius in swordsmanship and had achieved the rank of Martial Dao Grand Master, it was important to remember that any demon was not to be trifled with. Especially this time, the demon had killed someone important, not just an ordinary person, but the head of the Chong family. The head of the Chong family was not an ordinary person and had some wealth. He had a good relationship with the Wang family and was a prominent figure in Great Harmony Town, a mid-level expert at the third layer of the acquired realm. Now, his whole family had been slaughtered. According to the report, the head of the Chong family had his head torn apart by the monster, and his brain was completely sucked dry. His body was left with only a small amount of flesh and blood, barely recognizable. Many members of the Chong family, including the head's wives, children, and servants, were almost all victims of the massacre. The scene was horrifying. From this, it could be seen that the demon was not ordinary. It might even be a true great monster. Monsters like that were difficult to attack for ordinary martial artists. Even without using demonic techniques or attacks, their skin was hard to cut with knives and difficult to strike with clubs. Only those who knew some spells or possessed powerful weapons could deal with them. Moreover, some monsters could only be killed by cultivators, as they knew demonic techniques and had cultivated unique abilities. How could they not be shocked? But Lin Yi said he could punch it to death. Although Lu Feng and Wang Cheng didn't think Lin Yi was bragging, they felt that Lin Yi might be overestimating himself. Looking at Lin Yi's expression, which still had a hint of anticipation, Wang Cheng and Lu Feng were a little puzzled. This son-in-law seemed a bit abnormal. There was something wrong with his expression. Lin Yi chuckled and looked at the two with a questioning expression. He gestured for them to look at An Yingxiang. At first, An Yingxiang was in a state of confusion, but when Lin Yi said he had such abilities, An Yingxiang immediately relaxed. Because An Yingxiang realized that Lin Yi was not an ordinary martial Dao grandmaster, but a cultivator. Seeing Lin Yi gesture towards him, An Yingxiang realized that his forced smile and panic had already turned into a smile and calmness. When Lu Feng and Wang Cheng followed Lin Yi's gaze and looked at An Yingxiang, they naturally noticed his expression. For a moment, both of them were confused and couldn't understand what was going on with An Yingxiang. Could it be that his head is acting up again? After the initial shock, Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng looked at each other and knew that An Yingxiang had a plan. Involuntarily, both of them looked at An Yingxiang, and An Yingxiang laughed. I overlooked it earlier, don't worry, I believe what my grandson Lin Yi said. He, if the demon dares to come, I'll punch it to pieces. Listening to An Yingxiang's words, what else could Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng say? Both of them could only remain silent. Soon, Wang Qiangzhan sighed, it's a pity though. It was supposed to be my son-in-law and my granddaughter's wedding ceremony, but it will be delayed. Lu Feng nodded, yes, it's regrettable. But don't worry, even though it can't happen today, we can wait a couple of days and prepare properly. Just as they finished speaking, Lin Yi shook his head impatiently, we can't wait, it has to be today. I want to enter the bridal chamber tonight. With that statement, there was a sound of bowls and chopsticks falling in the room. Obviously, it was Wang Yuren and the others who were eavesdropping on Lin Yi and the others. It seemed that they were also a bit panicked, not expecting Lin Yi to be so quick. Tonight, he would enter the bridal chamber. Isn't that a bit too hasty? At this moment, Zhang Mingyu rubbed the corner of her clothes. Inside the room, Wang Yuren and Lu Zixuan looked at each other and almost asked at the same time. I didn't expect my husband to be so impatient. After saying that, the three women felt a bit embarrassed. But no matter who it was, they could see the anticipation in each other's eyes and inwardly cursed themselves. But when they thought about it again, they hadn't gained much themselves, so they felt slightly awkward. Fortunately, when they got excited and stood up, although it caused the bowls and chopsticks to fall to the ground, no one came in, which saved them some face. Outside the council chamber, the conversation continued. So soon, Lu Feng was the first to speak, shouldn't we wait a bit longer? This is a big deal. Wang Qiangzhan also echoed, yes, this matter is urgent. It's an important alliance between our families. With Lin Yi as the bond between my grandson-in-law and my granddaughter, even if there are conflicts, our three families have already started the alliance. What else is there to worry about? So, the wedding ceremony must be grand. Just as the two of them finished speaking, An Yingxiang shook his head, I'll listen to my grandson. Tonight, the bridal chamber. As for the wedding ceremony, we can do it whenever. Lin Yi nodded and smiled, looking at An Yingxiang, Grandpa, you understand me. After Lin Yi finished speaking, he practically settled the matter. Because Lin Yi's gaze was fixed on Wang Qiangzhan and Lu Feng, in the end, they could only nod helplessly. However, both of them repeatedly stated that the wedding ceremony must be made up for. When the time comes, it will be lively and grand. Soon, the two of them also decided to leave and take the three women back. But to Wang Qiangjun and Lu Feng's surprise, when they went to knock on the door, the three women simply didn't open it. Before they could say much, Lin Yi spoke up, "Don't take them back, let them stay here. Now, who in Great Harmony Town doesn't know that the three women are already my wives? This completely goes against the rules and would damage the reputation of the women's families if it were to be known." But who made Lin Yi the main character in this marriage? Because of the demon epidemic, Great Harmony Town needed to arrange its own resources and people, so the group of people left. And Yingxiang also followed them, planning to go to Mayor Luo Chengkong's house in Great Harmony Town with the two of them. With the appearance of demons in Great Harmony Town, even if the three of them didn't go to find Luo Chengkong, it's likely that Luo Chengkong would come looking for them. Now that they all have women with them, although Wang Qiangjun and Lu Feng don't know yet that An Miaoyi is Lin Yi's first wife, at least on the surface, Lin Yi is also An Yingxiang's grandson. At least for now, without any major conflicts of interest, the three families are in a cooperative state. As for Nangong Tian, Wang Qiangjun and Lu Feng completely forgot about him. Not long after An Yingxiang left with Wang Qiangjun and Lu Feng, because of Lin Yi's confidence, An Yingxiang thought it would be good to talk to Luo Chengkong properly in front of him. Luo Chengkong not bringing anyone to An's house was disrespectful. If the Luo family also had beautiful eligible women, it might impress Lin Yi and he could marry more women. The more wives and concubines he has, the stronger his son-in-law Lin Yi's power will be, and he can also handle the Luo family. But the Luo family doesn't know how to appreciate it. With narrowed eyes, along the way, An Yingxiang began to instill this idea into Wang Qiangjun and Lu Feng. The Luo family doesn't know how to appreciate it. In the future, the three families should work together and hope that you two can put pressure on Luo Chengkong. Wang Qiangjun and Lu Feng naturally nodded. The three of them soon arrived at the Luo residence. But they found that Luo Chengkong was not there. According to the servant's report, Luo Chengkong had already left. And Yingxiang's face turned ugly. According to the servant's report, Luo Chengkong had taken many young and beautiful female relatives of the Luo family with him. All of these relatives were young and beautiful women from the Luo family. This action by Luo Chengkong directly angered An Yingxiang. "Luo Chengkong, you old man. Instead of bringing these eligible women from the Luo family for your son-in-law Lin Yi to choose from, you took them away." After investigating, An Yingxiang found out that not only were there beautiful women from the Luo family, but also several young women from Luo Chengkong's relatives and friends, totaling 7 or 8, were taken away by Luo Chengkong. Originally furious, An Yingxiang's face turned ugly. Wang Qiangjun and Lu Feng looked at each other and finally Wang Qiangjun spoke up. "Maybe Luo Chengkong brought those people to our mansion. Is that possible?" Upon hearing this, An Yingxiang also realized that this was a possibility. So, after not finding Luo Chengkong, the three of them inquired about this news and returned to An's house. By the time the three of them returned to An's house, Lin Yi had already impatiently taken the 3 beautiful wives to the back mountain. Looking at the small wooden houses in the back mountain, the 3 beautiful wives were all stunned. Chapter 31. Lin Yi knew that he needed to protect his 3 wives well. After all, he needed his 3 wives to bear his offspring, so that he could benefit from the rewards and bonuses of having descendants. Therefore, amidst the shocked expressions of Wang Yuren and the other 2 women, Lin Yi led them to the back mountain, next to the formation arranged by the ancestral patriarch. However, Lin Yi did not let Wang Yuren and the others enter. Instead, he entered the formation himself. Leaving the astonished women behind, amazed that there was actually a formation behind and mansion that only immortals could set up and decipher. Lin Yi first entered the cave. He felt that he needed to discuss future matters with An Miaoyi. Although he had the matter with Joyous Union Sect's Qin Yao's wife on his mind, this time he had married 3 more wives, and it didn't seem right to Lin Yi to not inform An Miaoyi. He needed to appease his first wife. After all, Lin Yi was a transmigrator, not a native of the extreme heaven continent. He couldn't help but feel a little awkward inside. Having several legitimate wives and partners. Lin Yi had seen secret affairs and open relationships in his previous life, but he had never seen a situation where all friends and relatives openly accepted it. But in the extreme heaven continent, Lin Yi unlocked this achievement. But even though he unlocked it, Lin Yi couldn't neglect An Miaoyi. That's why he entered the formation. Not long after, Lin Yi discovered that An Miaoyi was sitting alone on a stone stool in the cave, staring at the flowing water outside the cave entrance, motionless for a long time. When Lin Yi entered, he was on the other side of the cave entrance and could see An Miaoyi's originally lively eyes, which now seemed a bit vacant. When Lin Yi stood at the entrance of the cave, An Miaoyi looked towards him, but it seemed like she didn't see him at all. It was clear that she was thinking about something else. Seeing that An Miaoyi's whole demeanor was off and that she was sitting there, muttering to herself, Lin Yi shook his head and swiftly approached. After reaching the Qi refining stage 2nd level, Lin Yi's strength was incomparable to before. After all, Lin Yi could now use a minor acceleration spell with a wind attribute as support. Previously, when Lin Yi moved, An Miaoyi had already reached the strength of a martial Dao Grandmaster in these few days and could perceive a thing or two. Now, Lin Yi's strength had reached an extremely powerful level, so he quickly arrived by An Miaoyi's side. When Lin Yi stood up, An Miaoyi turned her head and saw Lin Yi. "Wife, my strength has increased again. From now on, I can be your master and guide you in your cultivation." At the same time, Lin Yi's mind moved and he picked up a jade talisman and threw it randomly. Boom boom boom. In the next instant, while waiting for Lin Yi to come out and not knowing what he was doing, Wang Yuren and the others who were studying the formation were suddenly shocked to see the formation undergo changes. Before their eyes, a mist-like formation appeared, and the mist disappeared in an instant, revealing a small path. Seeing the appearance of the path, Lin Yi's voice also came through. "Quickly come in." Suppressing their curiosity, the three women obediently walked in. The sun and moon alternated, and in the blink of an eye, it was already nighttime. Lin Yi came out of the formation, a smile appearing on his lips. "With Qin Yao's wife included, I now have 5 partners. In 10 months, I will have 5 children, and then I will receive 5 rewards for having descendants. Alright, within these 10 months, I will try to see if I can expand my partners. Because of the withered tree reviving spring technique, my actions have once again increased. It can be confirmed that I am now at the Qi refining stage 2nd level." And Yingxiang, Lu Feng, Wang Qiangzhan, and others returned to An Mansion at this moment, but they learned from the servants of An Mansion that Luo Chengkong did not bring any suitable marriageable women from the Luo family. In an instant, An Yingxiang's expression turned ugly, and Lu Feng and Wang Qiangzhan also felt that something was amiss. However, the 3 of them did not disturb Lin Yi for the time being. And Yingxiang learned from his eldest son's report that Lin Yi had already brought 3 confirmed wives and arrived at the back mountain, so he didn't ask too many questions. Instead, he began discussing with Lu Feng and Wang Qiangzhan about why the Luo family did this and how they must be on guard in the future. They also speculated about where Luo Chengkong had taken the beautiful women from the clan. In the end, An Yingxiang gritted his teeth. He needed to have a good talk with Lin Yi about today's events. What if those Luo family beauties were able to catch Lin Yi's eye? It was related to whether Lin Yi would become stronger or not. After discussing with Lu Feng and Wang Qiangzhan, An Yingxiang decided that the 3 families would establish a joint defense team to deal with the appearance of demons and monsters. Since Luo Chengkong couldn't be relied upon and who knows where he had gone with the Luo family beauties, it was clear that it wasn't because of the demons and monsters that had slaughtered the Chong family. How much trouble could a small town mayor like Luo Chengkong cause? But thinking that Lin Yi might be interested in some of the beautiful women from the Luo family, An Yingxiang hesitated for a while before sending someone to check it out. However, at that time, a layer of miasma had already appeared in the back mountain, and there was no sign of Lin Yi in the medicinal fields and houses in the back mountain. The people who went to find Lin Yi could only report the truth. And Yingxiang, being shrewd and experienced, quickly guessed what Lin Yi was up to. He was afraid that Lin Yi was already cultivating. While worrying, An Yingxiang could only discuss and arrange with Lu Feng and Wang Cheng again. In the western suburbs of Great Harmony Town, there was a famous yellow bamboo forest known for its abundant yellow bamboo. The young man from 100 Flowers Palace who had previously suppressed Luo Chengkong sat on a stone chair, with wine and fruits placed on the stone table. The fruits emitted a natural spiritual energy that intoxicated anyone who smelled them. The reason Luo Chengkong took the 8 beautiful women from the Luo family and left was very simple. Xiao Maifeng's nephew had sent someone to the Luo family. Hong Biao, Xiao Maifeng's nephew, had now reached the second level of the qi refining stage. Luo Chengkong had already learned about his strength and name from Hong Biao. As for the 8 beautiful young women brought by Luo Chengkong, they were given orders by Hong Biao's subordinates to serve Luo Chengkong. Hong Biao specifically requested a few maidservants, and Luo Chengkong didn't dare to delay. Originally, Luo Chengkong had already arranged for several beautiful girls from the Luo family who had a relationship with An Yingxiang's grandson, Lin Yi, to participate in the blind date. He had no intention of going there again. Seeing that Hong Biao's subordinates had no martial cultivation and were just ordinary people, but were arrogant in front of him, Luo Chengkong didn't dare to do anything else. He could only bring these 8 beautiful women from the Luo family to this Yellowstone forest. The 8 women from the Luo family were trembling with fear and didn't dare to speak. On the way here, Luo Chengkong truthfully told these 8 juniors of his that they would be serving the cultivators responsible for cultivation in this area, the niece of the immortal, Xiao Maifeng. He also mentioned that this nephew had a bad temper and was very arrogant. They must not offend him, or they wouldn't even know how they died. With such instructions, how could these 8 women from the Luo family not feel terrified and fearful? Now seeing Hong Biao, although he was young, his eyes were heavy, and coupled with his arrogant demeanor, they knew that they would definitely suffer. But there was no way. After all, Hong Biao was Xiao Maifeng's nephew from 100 Flowers sect. Moreover, he himself was also a cultivator at the second level of the qi refining stage. In the future, this territory would no longer be under Luo Chengkong's control. In the past, in Great Harmony Town, Luo Chengkong was oppressed by An Yingxiang, as well as the Wang and Lu families. However, on the surface, as the leader of the official government, the Luo family also held some power. But now, times have changed, and they can only accept their fate. After a drink and eating a spiritual fruit, Hong Biao looked at Luo Chengkong and said, "What are you still doing here? Hurry up and leave." Luo Chengkong quickly stood up and said, all right, immortal, I'm leaving now." Hong Biao looked at Luo Chengkong and suddenly thought for a moment before loudly saying, "Stop." Luo Chengkong immediately stopped his body. He felt extremely humiliated, but Hong Biao was already a second-level qi refining stage cultivator, and he was no match for him. If he were a martial Dao grandmaster, he might have been able to contend with Hong Biao, who was only a first-level qi refining stage cultivator. But now, just from the aura emanating from Hong Biao, Luo Chengkong couldn't muster any hostility. Turning around, Luo Chengkong respectfully said, "Immortal, do you have any other orders?" At this point, Hong Biao smiled and said, "Orders? Well, indeed I do. Don't take what my aunt said before seriously, about her being the support and you being the main. I hope you remember that you are the servant. In this immortal cultivation world, there is a clear distinction in status between cultivators and ordinary people. You will be our Hong family's dog in the future. A dog should have the awareness of a dog. This forest will be the area where my aunt and I stay. Make sure your people keep a close watch and prevent others from entering. Furthermore, all the good things from Great Harmony Town and the surrounding villages must be sent over. If I stay here for a long time and don't see you offering anything good, let me tell you, you're done for." Listening to Hong Biao's words, Luo Chengkong felt a surge of anger in his heart, but he didn't dare to retort. "Understood. Immortal, do you have any other orders? If not, I will leave." Hong Biao nodded. "You've performed well. Go ahead. Also, if there are any beautiful women, make sure to offer them to me. Bring them here. That's all for now. Today, only 8 came. In a while, when I give the word, bring me a few more." Luo Chengkong cursed inwardly, but he didn't dare to do anything. Soon, Luo Chengkong shook his head and said, "Immortal, it's not that I don't want to do it, but Great Harmony Town itself is just a town. Even if it has tens of thousands of people, it's still just an ordinary town. Moreover." At this point, Luo Chengkong's eyes flickered, and he said with some difficulty, "This town is not something I, as the town mayor, can decide, because within this town, there are 3 other major families. If one does not act for oneself, heaven will punish and earth will annihilate." Luo Chengkong's eyes flickered, because he had thought of a solution. He couldn't possibly confront Hong Biao alone. He couldn't rely on Xiao Maifeng's character to handle Hong Biao, could he? Xiao Maifeng is Hong Biao's aunt. What if she silences him if he reports to her? Luo Chengkong saw his terrified juniors, pale-faced and frightened by Hong Biao, and he felt even more uneasy. Weakness is a sin. The juniors of his Luo family are being bullied and humiliated by this scum, Hong Biao. He can only watch and endure being pointed at by Hong Biao, being called a dog. Although he is used to being the mayor and has to be deferential in front of many important figures, he has never been humiliated like this before. Therefore, Luo Chengkong decided that he must find external help. And this help comes from the other families in Great Harmony Town, the three major families, and Lu and Wang. Luo Chengkong doesn't want to harm the An family and the other families, but he knows that families like the Lu and Wang families also have connections in Cottonwood City. These connections may include people related to the cultivation sects. Indeed, Hong Biao is much stronger than him, but so what? Hong Biao is only a second-level qi refining stage cultivator in the immortal cultivation world, which is considered low-level. Even Xiao Maifeng, who is currently in charge of this area according to the information Luo Chengkong obtained from Hong Biao, has not reached the foundation building stage and is only at the 5th level of qi refining stage. So, there may be other opportunities. Luo Chengkong apologizes in his heart to the An family and the other three families. I'm sorry, fellow Taoists, but I won't let myself die. Seeing Hong Biao frowning, Luo Chengkong continues to explain. Our Luo family moved to Great Harmony Town when I became the mayor. The environment shapes the people. The major families that were originally stationed here are all martial artists, martial Dao families. Their junior girls are all very beautiful. If I really go to find beauties for you, immortal, I can only go to their families, but some of them are much stronger than me, and I'm afraid. I'm afraid I won't succeed. As soon as Luo Chengkong finished speaking, Hong Biao stood up with a bang, his eyes revealing a hint of lust. Just by looking at him, Luo Chengkong knew that Hong Biao had ulterior motives. The burning desire in his eyes was like flames. At the same time, he curled his lips, showing a hint of disdain, and laughed at Luo Chengkong, squinting his eyes slightly. Then, he picked up a wine glass and threw it towards Luo Chengkong. Luo Chengkong didn't dare to dodge and could only take the wine glass head on. The wine glass hit his forehead with a bang, causing blood to flow. You want to deceive me in front of me, huh? He, not to mention Great Harmony Town, even in Cottonwood City, so what? Even if I can't do it, with the reputation of my aunt, who dares not to listen to me? Let me enjoy first, and then you can go to those so-called major families and prepare the beauties. If they don't comply. Speaking of this, Hong Biao's eyes turned cold and a murderous intent emerged. That's just asking for death. In front of cultivators, ordinary people are all ants. Now get lost and spread my orders. Hong Biao sat down again, and Luo Chengkong nodded repeatedly, okay. At the same time, he cursed inwardly. This Hong Biao is a lunatic, always either hitting or scolding him. Hong Biao's actions also frightened the 8 young women from the Luo family, their souls trembling and cold sweat pouring out. Hong Biao said to one of them, go to the pavilion behind and bring me a few more wine cups. You all serve me the wine. I want it warm, not with anything else, just use your cherry-like mouths to warm it up for me. And these fruits, take a bite first, then feed me, he. As Hong Biao spoke like this, a lewd and evil expression appeared on his face. That appearance made the 8 young women from the Luo family even more unbearable. But trembling with fear, they could only do as they were told. Hong Biao stretched out his hands, and suddenly, a burst of energy flashed, forming hand-like shapes on his hands, directly pulling 2 of the Luo family beauties to his side and embracing them. Looking at their unhappy faces, Hong Biao frowned and said, smile for me, or there will be many lives lost in my hands. Now there are demons appearing in Great Harmony Town, and those demons were released by me. What? One of the Luo family women widened her eyes and asked subconsciously. But immediately after, Hong Biao slapped her cheek hard, and instantly, her beautiful face swelled up. Hong Biao chuckled, did I ask you to speak? Go fetch the basin of foot washing water and kneel down to wash my feet. It turned out that a demon that killed Chong Yuany appeared in Great Harmony Town, and it was released by Hong Biao. Enjoying the service of the 8 Luo family beauties, Hong Biao looked extremely satisfied and continued to speak. That demon is a Huapi demon. Only cultivators like me can defeat it. Ordinary mortals, even someone like Luo Chungkong from your Luo family, a top-notch expert at the first layer of the acquired realm, or even a martial Dao Grandmaster, would be defeated by the Huapi demon. Let the Huapi demon cause chaos outside Great Harmony Town first, and see who dares to defy me and not contribute good things to me. He. Serve me quickly, or else you'll understand the consequences. After all, your elder Luo Chungkong is dispensable. As long as the Huapi demon brings me good things, what do I have to worry about? With one sentence, goosebumps appeared on the bodies of the 8 Luo family beauties. It turned out that a demon appeared in Great Harmony Town, and it was released by Hong Biao himself, all for the purpose of causing chaos. Even if Luo Chungkong didn't obey, the Huapi demon could still bring various good things to Hong Biao. Money, wealth, and beautiful women. There might even be some rare treasures. This Hong Biao is not just an empty vessel, but rather has high intelligence. After Luo Chungkong came out, he returned to the Luo residence. It was already midnight when he heard the report from his subordinates, and Yingxiong's expression turned unpleasant. After Lu Feng, Wang Chang, and An Yingxiong came to the Luo family to look for him, Luo Chungkong thought that An Yingxiong was coming to hold him accountable. Just as he sat down, his subordinate immediately rushed in anxiously. Mayor, there is a monster in Great Harmony Town. That monster has already sucked out all of Chong Yuany's brain fluid, and the entire Chong family has been killed, including the infants. According to many reports, that monster seems to have a human form and moves incredibly fast. Judging by its speed, it seems to be even stronger than a martial Dao Grandmaster. Mayor, what should we do about this? By the way, Mayor, it seems that An Yingxiong and the others, the heads of the families, have come to find you to discuss this matter. Someone from the An family has contacted me. This subordinate is the leader of the Great Harmony Town Patrol, with a cultivation level slightly lower than Luo Chungkong's, but still quite strong. Listening to the report from his subordinate, Luo Chungkong stood up with a bang. How could this happen? Luo Chungkong originally intended to find Hong Biao to deal with this matter. After all, according to the report from his subordinate, although the monster had a human form and was not huge, its strange speed would definitely cause a series of bloodshed in Great Harmony Town. Faced with such a monster, he was simply no match. Even martial Dao Grandmaster and Yingxiong probably wouldn't be able to defeat the monster. Only by finding the cultivator Hong Biao or Xiao Maifeng could they kill it. Just as Luo Chungkong stood up to leave, he suddenly shook his head. Going to find Hong Biao now would be asking for humiliation. Hong Biao would not allow him to enter the Wangxi forest and find the fairy Xiao Maifeng. Based on his appearance, it was estimated that he couldn't exterminate the monster. In bitterness, Luo Chungkong stopped in his tracks and slowly sat back down on the chair. The leader of the Great Harmony Town Patrol was stunned. Luo Chungkong waved his hand. Forget it, let's not worry about this matter for now. We can't handle it. Speaking of which, Luo Chungkong thought of something else. By the way, has anything happened at the An family today? As soon as he finished speaking, the subordinates who had been puzzled all showed expressions of shock and reminiscence. In addition to the leader of the patrol, there were also some people from the Luo family. They had been waiting for Luo Chungkong to come over, and even people from other government offices were there. After all, the matter of the monster was too important, and they also wanted to discuss countermeasures with Luo Chungkong. Listening to Luo Chungkong's words, before the leader of the patrol could speak, the others immediately started talking, revealing what had happened. Something big really happened at the An family. An Yingxiong's grandson, Lin Yi, displayed great power today. He is actually a martial Dao Grandmaster and even broke the arm of the so-called Heavenly Elder Martial Dao Grandmaster, a master alchemist, with just one move. Yes, not only is he a martial Dao Grandmaster, but also an alchemist. And that's not all. At that time, there were leaks of aura from Lin Yi's body. Those auras even formed into strands of sword energy. The combination of those sword radiance strands seemed capable of killing a person each. It's too powerful, really too powerful. And that's not the most explosive part. I heard that Lin Yi is highly likely to have a spirit root and could become an immortal cultivator. Moreover, he is exceptionally handsome. By the way, he has also married 3 wives. Despite having hundreds or even thousands of people wanting to marry him, Lin Yi only chose 3 wives: Wang Yuren from the Wang family, Lu Zixuan from the Lu family, and a common peasant girl named Zhang Mingyu. I envy him so much, really envy him. Unfortunately, our Luo family. The people from the Luo family stopped talking, and the atmosphere became extremely quiet. They stopped talking, but someone else spoke up. Some of these Luo family members had a higher seniority than Luo Chengkong. And what they said was derogatory towards the Yin family and the other 2 major families. Yes, indeed, he married 3 wives. And I heard that those 2 families acted extremely unscrupulously. Ha ha ha, it's simply a disgrace to the Lu and Wang families. They actually sent their own female clan members to the Yin family without even getting married yet, without any wedding banquet. They didn't care about their face at all. I think so too, ha ha ha. Isn't it just to bind an Yingshang? Isn't it just to get this young man? It's really disgusting. However, although these guys were saying it was disgusting, their eyes revealed envy. There is no doubt that Lin Yi, at such a young age, is already a martial Dao Grandmaster, and it is said that he may have a spirit root. Who wouldn't want to marry their own children or acquaintances eligible women to Lin Yi? Unfortunately, Luo Chengkong didn't do any of these things. He didn't attend the family banquet this time, nor did he give the Luo family this opportunity. On the surface, they were reprimanding the Lu and Wang families for being shameless, but in reality, these people were looking at Luo Chengkong with dissatisfaction. These people didn't know that Xiao Maifeng and Hong Biao came to find Luo Chengkong. Otherwise, when they realized they had missed the chance to have a potential son-in-law who could become an immortal cultivator, their hatred towards Luo Chengkong would be even greater. With just a few words, everyone's discussions became lively. Luo Chengkong immediately understood. Now, the Yin family, the Lu family, and the Wang family are in a complete alliance. What surprised him the most was that the rumors about An Yingshang having a problem with his brain were false, and Lin Yi was indeed a talented young man. Luo Chengkong was stunned. Many people around noticed that Luo Chengkong's face didn't look good, so everyone stopped talking. Although many of those who were discussing earlier were elders of the Luo family, in the end, Luo Chengkong, as the mayor of Great Harmony Town, had the final say. Bang! Luo Chengkong slammed the table. This must be done. The Luo family must marry our daughters to the Yin family. Let the daughters of the Luo family become Lin Yi's wives. This must be done. Quickly, bring all the eligible women from the Luo family to the Yin family, quickly. Luo Chengkong was so excited and had an unpleasant expression because he realized that what he did today was wrong, terribly wrong. Although he didn't have any ill intentions towards the Yin family and the Lu and Wang families, in the end, he wanted to shift the hatred and conflicts. And now, there was a bright future right in front of him. As long as I hold on to Lin Yi's thigh, who may possibly have a spirit root, what do I have to fear? Go to hell. That Hong Biao, I don't have to indulge him anymore. In the future, the entire world will be divided and allocated by cultivators, with territories assigned. I can completely unite with the cultivators who have territories allocated. My position as the mayor may have some superficial usefulness, but in reality, I am just a dog of the cultivators. Even if I am a dog, I have to choose the right master. Since Lin Yi, up until now, although it is uncertain whether he has a spirit root, as long as there is a glimmer of hope, I might as well hold on to his thigh. I just made a mistake before, and now I must make up for it. Thinking of this, Luo Chengkong urged again. Hurry up, what are you standing around for? Quickly bring all the eligible women from our Luo family who are of marriageable age. As soon as he finished speaking, someone instinctively spoke up. But Mayor Luo, previously the Luo family has already selected 8 women with the most apex-level beauty, but... After he finished speaking, Luo Chengkong shook his head. So what, even women with apex-level looks were not chosen by Lin Yi. There might be other opportunities, just be prepared. Remember, it's all the eligible women. Following Luo Chengkong's instructions, many people from the Luo family started to take action. Everyone related to the Luo family was now being commanded. However, at this moment, Luo Chengkong received news through some of his subordinates from the town office. Someone else died in Great Harmony Town. The family that died was located in the western outskirts of Great Harmony Town, near the direction of the Wang family. It is said that after the person died, there was a fire in their house. A neighbor saw a black shadow making sounds, like the growling of an animal, not human speech. The whole figure rose into the sky when the fire broke out in that place and disappeared, deepening the fear of Luo Chengkong and others. With the full strength of the clan, Luo Chengkong finally found 12 beautiful women related to the Luo family and set off towards the Yan family. At the same time, what puzzled many people was that Luo Chengkong had put many thorns on his back. And Yingxiang, Lu Feng, and Wang Qiangjian discussed for a long time, and finally dispersed after dinner, each busy with their own business. By the time Luo Chengkong went to apologize with a bundle of thorns, and Yingxiang was no longer at the Yan family, Luo Chengkong personally waited at the entrance of the Yan family. Luo Chengkong led a large group of people, even though it was late at night, but because of the demon incident, many people in Great Harmony Town had already closed their doors and stayed indoors. They were discussing today's events inside their own homes. Some people were unaware of the demon incident, and the content of their discussion was entirely about the rising star of Great Harmony Town, Lin Yi. When Luo Chengkong brought his people over, he actually heard these discussions. Some people, although afraid to go out, still many people did not know about the demon incident that the whole family knew about. Because the news about Chong Yuanwei being sucked by a demon has not spread yet. As a result, there are fewer people on the streets. Some of the people who came out were surprised why the usual scenes of singing and dancing and listening to music disappeared. When Luo Chengkong appeared with the Luo family, many people noticed. Seeing Luo Chengkong arrive at the door of the Yan family, some people couldn't help shaking their heads. You can tell at a glance that our mayor Luo knows and Yingxiang's grandson, Lin Yi, who is transcendent. He doesn't want to miss out, so he came. I think that's probably it, he. But hey, looking at the women that the Luo family brought this time, none of them are really apex level. Is Luo Chengkong looking down on Lin Yi? Yeah, I noticed that too. Luo Jiawei, the famous beauty of the Luo family, is not here. She's the most famous woman in the Luo family, but she didn't come. Is he looking down on people? Listening to the people around him, Luo Chengkong saw that the guards of the Yan family were not happy with him, and when he heard the discussions of the people nearby, his face became even darker. With a bitter smile, he looked up at the guard at the entrance of the Yan family. This was a young man from the third generation of the Yan family, and Shuya, with a hint of arrogance on his face. Mayor Luo, my grandfather really isn't here, so, please leave. Seeing that they were about to be turned away, many people from the Luo family were unhappy deep down. But Luo Chengkong knew his own business. Among all the unimaginable things, Luo Chengkong suddenly took a large cane and started hitting himself with it. Smack, smack, smack. He mindlessly swung the cane back and forth. This scene confused everyone, and Shuya, many members of the Yan family, and some people nearby, including the members of the Luo family behind Luo Chengkong, were all dumbfounded. While beating himself, Luo Chengkong spoke, I was wrong. Please inform young master and report to Lao Yi that I have something important to tell. And Yingxiang really wasn't here. Luo Chengkong's next words made and Shuya realized that he had to report. If that didn't work, he would find Lin Yi, the grandson recognized by Lao Yi, his own inexplicably obtained younger brother. Luo Chengkong continued to speak while still beating himself. This news is very important, it concerns the life and death of many people, so it must be reported to Lao Yi. After saying these words, Luo Chengkong looked at Shuya with his eyes and continued to beat himself. And Shuya shook his head, feeling scared. Well, you wait, and Shuya hurriedly went in to report. Of course, he couldn't directly find Lin Yi. He found his own father, and Mingshuan, who was the eldest son of Laoyi. And Mingshuan, who was in his 50s, stood up after hearing Shuya's report and thought for a moment. The reason why Luo Chengkong wasn't allowed to come in was, of course, to give him a warning, but he didn't expect Luo Chengkong to come up with a move of admitting guilt. Moreover, from the sound of it, it seemed like there really was important news. And Mingshuan sighed and finally arrived at the place where Lin Yi was. Even without An Yingxiang's favor, the three auras that Lin Yi possessed, Sword Dao Genius, Martial Dao Grandmaster, and Alchemist, all commanded An Mingxuan's respect. An Mingxuan didn't know where Lin Yi was, but he knew that Lin Yi must be in this area of the back mountain. After thinking for a moment, An Mingxuan gathered his breath and his voice echoed in the back mountain. Lin Yi nephew, please come out. After shouting only once, An Mingxuan stopped shouting. Inside the mountain cave formation, Lin Yi was a little tired. Although he had a body that was impervious to 100 shots, Lin Yi still had some concerns. In order to ensure that each of his wives could get pregnant and bear the next generation of offspring for him, Lin Yi had to make sure everything was in order. This led to Lin Yi feeling very tired. Not long after, Lin Yi came out of the cave, leaving An Miaoyi and the others to continue sleeping. When Lin Yi arrived at the entrance of the cave and saw those formations, he couldn't help but filter everything about formations in his mind. In the jade slip that An Yingxiang Laowi gave Lin Yi before, there was everything about formations. But at that time, Lin Yi was still a little confused about formations. Now, with 5 more years of knowledge about formations, Lin Yi felt that he was not only familiar with those formations but also quite knowledgeable. It's also possible that this is just a simple fog formation. This kind of fog formation can be practiced by any casual formation master. And Laowi, it's obvious that his talent is not that strong. And Yingxiang Laowi said that An Laowi's strength is only at the 3rd level of the qi refining stage. Although he is much stronger than me, he is still at the bottom in the immortal cultivation world. Plus, he is not a formation master himself. He just bought some formation plates and flags, so that's why I'm so familiar with them. Now I understand the ins and outs of formations, and the 5 years of knowledge in my mind allows me to comprehend other formations because of the fog formation. I can now create some killing formations, but it's a pity that if I could marry one more wife, I would be able to gain a few more years of knowledge about formations. Thinking about this, Lin Yi felt that besides formations, there was also the constant interference of alchemy knowledge in his mind. Lin Yi wished he could refine many medicinal materials and personally see if he could turn some medicinal liquid into pills. That means, I will become an alchemist myself. The more I think about it, the more frustrated I become. This time, I only married 3 wives, which seems a bit few. In his annoyance, Lin Yi suddenly emitted a series of flashes of light, and the Great Freedom Sword technique began to operate. With no one else around, Lin Yi could practice his swordsmanship. Strands of sword aura continuously appeared on Lin Yi's body, and with a wave of his hand, swoosh swoosh swoosh, countless strands of sword aura shot towards the distance. The air burst with a hissing sound. Soon, Lin Yi's mind moved, and between his trembling hands, spiritual energy began to rotate incessantly. And the talisman that unlocked the formation was also thrown away by Lin Yi. The formation was activated. So, Lin Yi expended his energy and continuously attacked with these transformed sword auras, charging forward without stopping. In an instant, as Lin Yi expended his energy, the sword auras detached from his body and quickly struck towards the distance. At this moment, An Mingxuan happened to speak. An Mingxuan was a bit dumbfounded. He was originally standing outside the back mountain, but suddenly, in the dark night, he saw dense little swords shooting towards him from afar. Ah! An Mingxuan let out a scream. Lin Yi felt An Mingxuan's cry in his presence, quickly shook his hand, and those little swords involuntarily struck the nearby land. Hiss hiss hiss. After landing, those sword auras exploded. Boom boom. Emitting a series of explosions. The ground was full of craters. Lin Yi was very satisfied with this power. At this moment, Lin Yi looked towards An Mingxuan. An Yingxiang had introduced him, so of course he knew he had to call this person uncle. Looking at An Mingxuan, Lin Yi smiled and said, "Uncle, I'm sorry, I was just practicing martial arts and ignored your arrival." An Mingxuan snapped out of his shock. As if a drowning person resurfaced, he took a few deep breaths, and his admiration for Lin Yi increased several levels. With a steady breath, An Mingxuan respectfully said, "Well, Lin Yi, Mayor Luo has arrived. My father is not here right now. Would you like to meet him? This Mayor Luo." Speaking of this, An Mingxuan glanced at Lin Yi and his face showed a hint of anger. That Luo Chengkong actually brought some young women from his family here, saying they want to marry you and that they have important information to report, even. And Mingxuan snorted, and then he put on a show of begging for forgiveness, beating himself with thorny branches on his back. We can't make a decision on this matter, so I came here to find you, Lin Yi. Originally, Lin Yi didn't think much of it, but when he heard that Luo Chengkong had brought women with him, Lin Yi's eyes lit up. All right, it seems that Luo Chengkong has some intention of apologizing, making a show of begging for forgiveness. Lin Yi was about to leave with An Mingxuan when An Mingxuan suddenly frowned. However, there is an insult in this. Someone like Luo Jiawei, who is well known in the Luo family, beautiful and with decent martial Dao cultivation, is not here at all. All he brought were a bunch of misfits. Originally, Lin Yi thought that Luo Chengkong was quite reasonable, but when he heard An Mingxuan's words, Lin Yi's face also darkened. How dare Luo Chengkong not give him any face? Lin Yi couldn't help but furrow his brows and look at An Mingxuan. It seems that this Mayor Luo is quite overbearing. Alright, I want to see if he will still be overbearing later. This is like a direct slap to my face. I'll see who will be slapping who later. Alright, I'll meet him. Uncle, please bring him over. When Lin Yi returned to the council chamber, countless members of the An family respectfully greeted him along the way. No matter who they were in the An family, they didn't dare to pretend in front of Lin Yi. After a while in the council chamber, Luo Chengkong, who had whipped himself and even slapped his own face with a thorny branch, also arrived. Seeing Lin Yi, Luo Chengkong smiled and said, "Impressive, truly impressive. I never expected that An Lao's grandson, Lin Yi, would be so dignified in appearance. Ah, Uncle Luo is here to apologize to you. Quote. Luo Chengkong looked around, can I have a private conversation with Lin Yi? Since he had already decided to reveal everything he knew, Luo Chengkong naturally didn't want others to know. And Mingxuan and the others were a bit unwilling. Lin Yi waved his hand, Uncle, you can leave first. I don't think Mayor Luo intends to harm me, so there's no need to worry. Luo Chengkong quickly shook his head and flattered Lin Yi, how could I harm you? How could I? Besides, even if I wanted to harm you, I don't have the ability. Your strength is much stronger than mine. After the An family members left, Luo Chengkong directly knelt down in front of Lin Yi with a loud thud. Lin Yi was a bit confused about what Luo Chengkong was up to. However, Lin Yi wasn't worried at all. Luo Chengkong's strength was much weaker than his own. Luo Chengkong looked at Lin Yi and said sincerely, actually, I need to apologize to you, Lin Yi. I did something wrong before. Earlier today, 2 immortals came to the town government office. One of the immortals is Xiao Maifeng, a 5th-level qi refining stage disciple from the 100 Flowers sect, and the other is Xiao Maifeng's nephew, Hong Biao, a 2nd-level qi refining stage disciple. They said that many sects, including the Northern Barbarian sect, have been driving demons and monsters into our central state. In addition, some countries like the Barbarian nation are planning to wage war against central state. As a result, many demons and monsters have invaded, and sects like the 100 Flowers sect in central state, along with the 3 major sects of the Joyous Union sect, are dividing the territory and guarding their respective areas. In the future, my position as the town mayor will become meaningless. Great Harmony Town will be governed by Xiao Maifeng, and as for Hong Biao. Luo Chengkong smiled bitterly and continued, I know I did wrong, that's why I came to apologize. Hong Biao found me today, so I didn't meet with Old Master and the others. I went to the vicinity of Wangxi Forest where Hong Biao and his group were located. I saw Hong Biao and gave him the 8 Luo family women that were originally prepared for you, Lin Yi. But he went even further and asked me to gather more beautiful women. I don't want to. All I can say is that besides the 3 remaining families in Great Harmony Town, I have no say in the matter. So he asked me to deliver a command to Old Master N. At this point, Luo Chengkong looked up and looked at Lin Yi with sincere fear. When he saw that Lin Yi's expression remained calm, Luo Chengkong continued with a pounding heart. I admit, I went too far before. I also thought that the An, Wang, and Lu families must have some connection, which is why I said those things. But I know I was wrong. Just then, with a bang, Lin Yi kicked Luo Chengkong away. Plop plop. Luo Chengkong kept coughing up blood. But at the same time, Luo Chengkong was astonished in his heart. Lin Yi's strength was truly extraordinary. With one kick, carrying the powerful force of a transcendent level. He couldn't defend against it at all. Amidst the blood, Luo Chengkong felt that several of his ribs must have been broken. Lin Yi stood up and said, "Since you know you were wrong, you must be punished. I kicked you, are you convinced?" Cough cough cough. Luo Chengkong kept coughing up blood, his eyes filled with amazement. He didn't expect that Lin Yi would act on his words. He kicked him half to death. Looking at Lin Yi, Luo Chengkong's face was full of fear. He felt that Lin Yi was much more ruthless than Hong Biao. Hong Biao had only thrown a wine cup at him, but Lin Yi, he kicked him half to death. I'm convinced. When under someone else's roof, one must bow their head. Luo Chengkong began to lower his head. Lin Yi stared at the emotions revealed in Luo Chengkong's eyes. Lin Yi still couldn't believe it. In this day and age, after being beaten, how could one not harbor any resentment in their heart? Since Luo Chengkong mentioned Hong Biao, Lin Yi knew what kind of person Luo Chengkong was. Luo Chengkong needed to be dealt with, but not now. Lin Yi felt a bit annoyed. His own strength was not strong enough. Xiao Maifeng was at the 5th level of the qi refining stage, 3 levels higher than himself. Looking at Luo Chengkong, Lin Yi felt a sense of dissatisfaction with not taking care of him. After thinking for a moment, Lin Yi's eyes suddenly lit up. With 20 years of experience in alchemy, not to mention anything else, he was definitely top-notch in refining poison pills. Luo Chengkong, are you not likely to seek revenge on me? Didn't you make a mistake before? I happen to make it so that you dare not seek revenge on me. Moreover, after I take care of Hong Biao, I will take care of you next. With this in mind, Lin Yi looked at Luo Chengkong and said, "Very well, as long as you admit defeat, all right, I will give you something delicious next." Lin Yi took a few steps and waved to An Mingxuan in the distance. He asked An Mingxuan to keep an eye on Luo Chengkong while he went to the medicinal field on the mountain and dug up some medicinal herbs. Using the poisonous stems and other parts of the herbs, he quickly made a bowl of medicinal liquid. This poison would erupt every 3 days, and there was no antidote. Luo Chengkong would definitely suffer. After everything was prepared, Lin Yi returned. Things had to be done with full preparation. He couldn't kill Hong Biao now, but Lin Yi was confident that he would kill him sooner or later. I'll see if the Luo family has anyone who can marry or take concubines. If not, I need to act quickly. My goal shouldn't only be in Great Harmony Town. It's a good opportunity to go to Cottonwood City. First, he needed to control Luo Chengkong and let him deal with Hong Biao and the others. Then, Lin Yi's wife, sister-in-law and Miaoyi, and the Lu and Wang families from An Mansion could also compromise for a while. Lin Yi returned, and Luo Chengkong looked pitifully at An Mingxuan. Lin Yi didn't trust him. Even if he had a pitiful expression or cried while clinging to his leg, Lin Yi couldn't believe that Luo Chengkong had any good intentions towards him. He had to be on guard. When he arrived at the meeting hall of An Mansion, An Mingxuan saw Lin Yi holding a broken bowl and was puzzled. Soon, he smelled a fragrance. At first, An Mingxuan thought that the broken bowl contained good medicine to treat Luo Chengkong's injuries. An Mingxuan was puzzled. Luo Chengkong had brought some mediocre women for a trial marriage, clearly looking down on Lin Yi. Why did Lin Yi repay him with kindness? This didn't seem like Lin Yi's style. Luo Chengkong also felt the same way and felt delighted in his heart. It seemed that his plan of pretending to be pitiful had succeeded. When the time came, it would be best if they fought each other. Lin Yi, Hong Biao, and the others would bite each other, and he wouldn't have suffered in vain. Originally, Luo Chengkong thought that even though he had made a mistake, if he took the initiative to apologize, he believed that neither Lin Yi nor An Mansion, or any other family, would do anything to him. But he didn't expect that Lin Yi would kick him as soon as he arrived, which made Luo Chengkong's heart fill with hatred. Lin Yi brought the medicine over and handed it to Luo Chengkong. "Mayor Luo, drink it. It's for treating your injuries." Luo Chengkong nodded. "Thank you, my nephew Lin Yi. I knew you would forgive me. You are a good person." "Good person, my foot," Lin Yi thought to himself. Luo Chengkong had no doubts and directly drank all the medicine. The medicine had an incredibly pleasant fragrance, and Luo Chengkong thought that his injuries would improve after drinking it. However, he didn't expect that his injuries would still persist for a while. For a moment, Luo Chengkong was stunned. Lin Yi shook his head and said, "Indeed, this is the holy medicine for healing, but at the same time, it will cause excruciating pain every 3 days. Mayor Luo, you will suffer greatly." And Mingxuan was taken aback. He felt that something was off with the medicine that Lin Yi had brought. He didn't expect this. Luo Chengkong became even more frightened, and his hands began to tremble as he looked at the broken bowl. Lin Yi smiled, revealing his small silver teeth. "By the way, I am an alchemist. Mayor Luo must have heard of it. You can choose not to believe me or you can try it with Hong Biao. Whether this medicine works or not, but I advise you not to, because..." At this point, Lin Yi's gaze locked onto Luo Chengkong like a fierce beast. "Because if the treatment fails and there is no antidote, Mayor Luo, you will truly be beyond saving." With one sentence, Luo Chengkong's body went cold. He understood that what he had thought before was true. Lin Yi was truly more ruthless than Hong Biao. Hong Biao had never thought of controlling him, but Lin Yi had actually used poison to control him. Luo Chengkong had a mournful expression on his face. I won't reveal it." Lin Yi pulled and Mingxuan aside and quickly explained the situation. And Mingxuan felt relieved and found it somewhat amusing. "Uncle, I have other things to do. Please inform Grandpa and for me. I need to attend to other matters." Originally, Lin Yi had planned to relax for a while, but he didn't expect to become even busier. Lin Yi prepared to leave Great Harmony Town and head to Cottonwood City. Upon hearing Lin Yi's words, Luo Chengkong coughed and spat out some blood, but he still wanted to speak. However, Lin Yi waved his hand, and Luo Chengkong instantly fell silent. He was worried that Lin Yi would kill him directly. The smile Lin Yi had just shown was, in Luo Chengkong's eyes, tens or even hundreds of times more terrifying than Hong Biao, almost like a demon. Luo Chengkong shivered all over, and a thought suddenly popped into his head. Who really looked like a devil? Hong Biao was just a facade, but this Lin Yi might truly be a devil at heart. He was scared. Luo Chengkong even felt that when Lin Yi looked at him, it was as if he were looking at a dead person. It seemed that he still had some value to be used, otherwise Lin Yi would probably kill him directly. It was clear that Luo Chengkong had guessed correctly. After Lin Yi explained to Mingxuan was dumbfounded by what Luo Chengkong had told Lin Yi earlier. The division of territories among cultivators would now be managed by the cultivator organization, and demons and monsters had already invaded. No wonder. And Mingxuan seemed to have a sudden realization. No wonder we've been encountering demons in Great Harmony Town. It's obviously related to this. What will ordinary people do in the future? And Mingxuan was so anxious that he was like an ant on a hot pan. In Lin Yi's heart, not only Great Harmony Town but also other nearby areas, including Cottonwood City, would become his territories in the future. Once he joined the 100 Flowers sect, dealing with Hong Biao would naturally be a piece of cake. In fact, even now, Hong Biao wasn't much of a problem. Killing Hong Biao seemed simple to Lin Yi, but he had to study Xiao Maifeng, who was behind Hong Biao. Xiao Maifeng, at the 5th level of the qi refining stage, was like a huge boulder weighing on Lin Yi's heart. Why can't I just relax and be lazy for a while? Why did I have to encounter this mess? Clearly, he could have waited here for 10 months, given birth to offspring, and received the rewards for recording offspring's wool, which would have allowed him to improve his strength. But now he had to reverse the situation. It was speechless, truly speechless. Since things had come to this point, he could only treat it as a battle against fate. If he wanted to be lazy, he had to work hard first. Lin Yi comforted himself in his heart. There was no other choice but to find comfort. If he forced himself not to work hard, he would only end up dead. So he had to take action. Even if he took action, he would go to Cottonwood City to look for opportunities. Maybe he could marry a few more women and raise his comprehensive score to over 80 for recording offspring. As Lin Yi thought about these things, his gaze involuntarily turned to the distance. In another courtyard in the council hall, there were the Luo family women brought by Luo Chengkong. Lin Yi thought it would be a waste not to test them, so he walked over. Lin Yi's appearance caused a stir and various flattering voices. However, these Luo family members didn't know that Lin Yi had completely controlled Luo Chengkong with poison. Lin Yi didn't say much and thought to himself that as long as there was one Luo family member who could be his wife or concubine, he could ensure the safety of the Luo family where Luo Chengkong was. Otherwise, Lin Yi sneered inwardly. After a thorough investigation, Lin Yi discovered that none of the Luo family women had a comprehensive score above 80. The highest score was only 56. It could only be described as extremely poor. This could only be attributed to fate. Lin Yi announced that he had become enemies with the Luo family. Lin Yi snorted and, in the trembling gazes of many Luo family members, returned to the council hall. He looked at Luo Chengkong and said, "I'm sorry, but I didn't find any of these women you brought suitable." After speaking, Lin Yi told An Mingxuan that he would be in seclusion at the An family for a few days. An Mingxuan, who already knew everything, looked at Luo Chengkong and a smile of anomaly appeared on his face. "Mayor Luo, I believe you know what to do now, right?" Luo Chengkong nodded. "Don't worry, I will explain everything to Hong Biao and the others." Hearing his words, An Mingxuan walked up and patted Luo Chengkong on the shoulder. Then An Mingxuan laughed. Luo Chengkong's face turned even more pale. Not choosing a single Luo family member had already made Luo Chengkong feel disheartened, and now he regretted it even more. It had been a day of losses and no gains. Lin Yi returned to the cave on the back mountain and quickly woke up the women, telling them about what had happened today. Because Wang Yuren and others knew that there were demons in Great Harmony Town, but they had never heard that the entire central state would be divided by the 3 major sects of the 4 major sects and other sects in the future. For a moment, they were stunned. Apart from An Miaoyi, Wang Yuren and others did not know that Lin Yi was already a cultivator. But because of the formation, they had already begun to have this kind of speculation in their hearts. Lin Yi didn't tell them directly, but the women vaguely felt a surge of energy flowing through their bodies. In just one day, it felt as if they had practiced for several days. This surprised them a little. After waking up this time, Wang Yuren and Lu Zixuan, who both had martial Dao cultivation, clearly felt it. Even Zhang Mingyu, who had never practiced before, found that the power in her every move was much stronger than before. And Miaoyi knew that Lin Yi must have other ideas when he woke them up. In addition to the many things that happened today, looking at Lin Yi's serious expression, and Miaoyi couldn't help but smile bitterly and shook her head. "You, husband, tell me, do you have any ideas?" Lin Yi nodded. "I do have ideas. The appearance of demons and the division of the world by cultivators means that some rules and systems in this world have been reshuffled. I won't give up on this Great Harmony Town, and there are many other places. You also know about my special physique. The larger the scope, then, cough cough." At this point, Lin Yi coughed a few times. "The more wives and concubines I have, the stronger my strength will be. So I have to leave first and come back later. By then, I will strive to make this place mine, and make Great Harmony Town, including Cottonwood City, my responsible area. At worst, I have to take down Great Harmony Town first." Listening to Lin Yi's words, Wang Yuren and the others were speechless. At the same time, just like Qin Yao back then, they became more and more puzzled and shocked in their hearts. Their husband, Lin Yi, actually has a special physique. Seeing the questioning looks of everyone, Lin Yi shook his head. "Mayor Luo is here, and I have controlled him with poison." Lin Yi briefly described the process, which made the women dumbfounded. And Miaoyi, on the other hand, was the most adaptable. Looking at An Miaoyi, Lin Yi suddenly remembered Nangong Tian. "By the way, wife, there's something I need to tell you. I have already dealt with Nangong Tian." What? Although they had been together for almost a day, Lin Yi had not mentioned this to An Miaoyi, only focusing on improving everyone's cultivation. Now, hearing Lin Yi's words, An Miaoyi was stunned for a long time before nodding. Unable to hold back, she hugged Lin Yi in excitement. "Thank you, husband." Lin Yi gently patted An Miaoyi's back. "It's all right, it's all right. He's just a martial Dao grandmaster, it's easy to deal with him. No need to thank me. However, there might be other things to deal with later, as you mentioned. He might have some hidden cards up his sleeve, so I need to question him. Once I'm done interrogating him, you can kill him however you want to vent your anger." Lin Yi's eyes flashed with determination. "In the future, I will make sure that no one dares to provoke you in Great Harmony Town. HMPH, once I take control of Great Harmony Town, and even become a member of the 100 Flowers sect, who would dare to target me excessively. After all, the 100 Flowers sect has some named disciples, and as long as one can cultivate, they can become a named disciple. I have spirit root, so I've secured my spot. Lin Yi exchanged a few more words with An Miaoyi before deciding to find Nangong Tian. After bidding farewell to Wang Yuren and the others, Lin Yi left. Wang Yuren and the others stood there for a while, not feeling too shy around An Miaoyi due to their previous openness. They chattered around An Miaoyi, discussing things. The words Lin Yi said just now really frightened them. Previously, on the square of the council hall, they heard others discussing Lin Yi's potential for cultivation and the possibility of having spirit root. But actually having spirit root and being a cultivator were two different things. And Miaoyi watched Lin Yi walk away and listened to everyone's conversation. She coughed a few times. Sisters, let me tell you the truth. Lin Yi does have spirit root. Without spirit root, he wouldn't be able to control the formation here. Lin Yi is now at least at the second level of the qi refining stage. So what if Hong Biao is at the second level of the foundation building stage? Compared to our husband, he is nothing. With a loud bang, Wang Yuren and the others felt a ringing in their heads. And Miaoyi's words filled them with excitement. They felt that their emotions had been fluctuating greatly throughout the day, and now they finally settled down. So what if they were cultivators? As their husband said, who knows who holds the authority over the cultivators near Great Harmony Town? They didn't have much thought about what Lin Yi said before, but now they were looking forward to Lin Yi reclaiming that authority and becoming the true manager of Great Harmony Town and the surrounding area. Zhang Mingyu, who didn't understand martial cultivation, felt that her strength had increased a little. She timidly called out to An Miaoyi. Can I also cultivate? And, big sister. She hesitated and called out to An Miaoyi. An Miaoyi smiled. Speak, what's the matter, Mingyu? I want to ask big sister, what did our husband mean by that special physique? Why do I feel like my strength has increased? Does that mean all cultivators have it? And Miaoyi's eyes sparkled, and she smiled. That's another matter. Come, let me explain it to you. Soon, the room was filled with shy exclamations. Lin Yi arrived at the place where Nangong Tian was. Nangong Tian was still unconscious. Lin Yi scooped up a ladle of water and splashed it on Nangong Tian's head. Cough, cough, cough. Nangong Tian was awakened by a splash, causing his injuries to worsen, and he started coughing incessantly. The piercing pain reminded Nangong Tian of his failed attempt to ambush An Yingxiang, with the help of the fearful Wang Cheng and Lu Feng pretending to be Tian Lao. He was severely injured by a young man named Lin Yi, who not only broke his arm with a single blow, but also possessed a penetrating attack power that caused his body to be heavily injured. What was even more terrifying was that this young man was not only a martial Dao grandmaster, but also an alchemist and a genius in swordsmanship. This situation was definitely a stroke of bad luck. Just a moment ago, he had regained consciousness only to be tormented by the An family. He felt resentful. Nangong Tian couldn't help but feel that his attempt to steal the chicken had resulted in the loss of the rice. You trash from the An family. I am Nangong Tian, the sect master of Scorching Sun sect. Just you wait, someone from Scorching Sun sect will come and flatten the An family. Be sensible, cough cough, release me earlier. Nangong Tian suddenly roared, opened his eyes, but the next moment, he couldn't roar anymore. He saw Lin Yi. A great fear surged in his heart, rendering him speechless. The fear that Lin Yi had caused him earlier was too great, making Nangong Tian, who was fearless in the face of heaven and earth, completely lose his courage when facing Lin Yi. Crack! Lin Yi whipped him, saying, "Stop making noise." With this whip, Lin Yi exerted force and struck Nangong Tian's face. Nangong Tian's already swollen cheek was directly whipped off, with the skin splitting open. Nangong Tian let out cries of pain. Crack! Lin Yi delivered a second whip, completely disfiguring Nangong Tian. The other side of his face was already filled with torn flesh and blood. But Nangong Tian didn't dare to cry out anymore. Looking at Lin Yi's calm expression, Nangong Tian finally lowered his head completely, not daring to say a word. Only then did Lin Yi nod and say, "That's more obedient. I heard that you, an old dog, seem to have some connections behind you. As a martial Dao grandmaster like you, You dare to call your sect Scorching Sun Sect? Who gave you that title? Are you even worthy? Tell me about the threats behind you. Now you can speak. Looking into Lin Yi's eyes, Nangong Tian gritted his teeth and finally spoke. Lin Yi, you will regret treating me like this today. Yes, just as you said, there is a cultivator behind me. In front of that cultivator, you, a mere martial Dao Grandmaster, are nothing. This area is the territory of the 100 Flowers sect. Our Scorching Sun sect is indeed just a faction, he he he. However, you should know that there are 4 major sects near Central State. Do you think I'm just calling myself Scorching Sun sect for no reason? The reason why it's called Scorching Sun sect is because no one dares to make me change it. I have my aunt behind me, and my aunt is the famous Lady Shuigu of the Blood Bone. She has already reached the 5th level of the Qi refining stage and is a registered elder of the Azure Cloud sect. With just one finger, I can kill you. Moreover, my aunt is skilled in the art of GU worms. You're doomed. The destruction of the Yin family is certain. Oh, how can we avoid destruction then? Lin Yi asked calmly. Nangong Tian looked at Lin Yi, his eyes filled with hope. He thought Lin Yi was afraid. If you don't believe me, you can go and check. He he he, if you want to live, there is only one way. Release me, kneel and beg for mercy, and let An Yingxiang come. You all must cripple yourselves first. Then find An Miaoyi for me. You should know about An Miaoyi's whereabouts. After all, An Yingxiang went to great lengths to arrange this banquet for you. Once everything is done, release me immediately, and you can save your lives. And before I came, I already sent my son Nangong Han to find my aunt. My aunt will come soon. She is in the Great Qian Kingdom. When she arrives, it won't be easy for you to survive. So, you should know what you need to do now, untie me. The more Nangong Tian spoke, the more confident he felt in his heart. Lin Yi didn't expect that Nangong Tian would actually dare to threaten him. Unable to hold back, Lin Yi shook his head, a contemptuous smile appearing on his lips, and then he picked up the whip again. Crack, crack, crack. After a few lashes, Nangong Tian's head was about to explode. Apart from his screams, Nangong Tian was completely stunned. What's going on? Why is Lin Yi beating him without any reason? Nangong Tian felt his head buzzing, his teeth flying, and his body covered in wounds. Nangong Tian no longer looked disfigured, but rather had lost his appearance, truly faceless. While whipping Nangong Tian, Lin Yi couldn't help but feel speechless. What kind of situation was this? Could it be that the Great Tao had ordained it? That Hong Biao's aunt is a 5th level Qi refining stage expert. This Nangong Tian, as his aunt, is also a 5th level Qi refining stage expert. It's quite a coincidence that they are all my enemies, female cultivators, and all at the 5th level of the Qi refining stage. The plot is developing, and it turns out that the enemy is not some old man, but rather, judging from the sound of it, it should be a charming female cultivator. If their overall score exceeds 80 points, it might be a bit tricky. After all, according to my way, I should kill all enemies, but with them, should I kill or spare them? Anyway, Nangong Tian and Nangong Han are destined to die, and Hong Biao is almost there. But they might be useful, depending on the situation. Without wasting any more words with Nangong Tian, Lin Yi knew Nangong Tian's trump card was the 5th level Qi refining stage Lady Shuigu. Apart from her, there is also Xiao Maifeng, who Lin Yi might have to deal with. She is also at the 5th level of the Qi refining stage, making Lin Yi feel that even if there is one more louse, it won't itch. Whether to spare or kill them depends on what they do. In any case, I must raise my cultivation to the 5th level of the Qi refining stage. After enjoying the whipping, Lin Yi sneered. Nangong Tian, oh Nangong Tian, who do you think you are? Do you think I'm afraid of your threats? He he he, you're just a small martial Dao Grandmaster, what do you know? In a moment, I will kill you, but I have to let my sister-in-law and Miaoyi personally kill you. No, now it's upgraded to my wife. Poo-poo-poo, spitting blood, Nangong Tian, while listening to Lin Yi's words, said unclearly, sister-in-law, wife, you and that and Miaoyi, you're finished. And Miaoyi has actually lost her virginity, it's over. Nangong Tian stopped suddenly after saying this. But Lin Yi already sensed that something was wrong. At first, Lin Yi didn't pay much attention, thinking that the reason Nangong Tian mentioned sister-in-law and Miaoyi losing her virginity was because of his son, Nangong Han. After all, and Miaoyi was supposed to use evil techniques to cultivate Nangong Han and needed to be in a state of complete purity. But when Lin Yi suddenly glanced at Nangong Tian, he felt that something was off. Although Nangong Tian didn't speak, his other eye, which was still able to see things after being blinded, inadvertently glanced at the table next to him. It was the An family's water dungeon wherein Ming Yuan had been tortured to death before. Inside the room, Nangong Tian was bound with metal chains, covered in injuries, with only a few pieces of torn cloth covering his body. However, he wasn't placed in the water, but rather bound and standing at the edge of the deep water area, with a stone pillar behind him. The place he had just glanced at was a table on Lin Yi's side. Besides torture instruments, the table also held things that the An family members had confiscated from Nangong Tian. Lin Yi could sense that what Nangong Tian was looking at was a piece of bone on the table. The bone was just a small section of a finger bone, probably from a human or humanoid finger. The two sections of the bone had turned black, and although the bone seemed to be decaying and about to crumble, it was still tightly connected. In addition to this bone, there were also many bottles, jars, and silver notes. Lin Yi lightly exclaimed and then picked up the piece of bone. Sure enough, Lin Yi noticed that Nangong Tian's expression changed again. Lin Yi turned around and immediately whipped him. With a crack, Nangong Tian's already partially split ear was cut off by the whip, turning into a mist of blood. Hiss! Nangong Tian made a series of gasping sounds. Lin Yi coldly asked, "What is this?" Nangong Tian shook his head in silence. Lin Yi snorted coldly, knowing that this thing must be valuable. After thinking for a moment, Lin Yi smirked and then looked at the bottles and jars. Holding the finger bone, Lin Yi examined it closely. Soon, Lin Yi couldn't help but widen his eyes. Because Lin Yi discovered that on top of this bone, at first glance, there was nothing special. But when he held it closer, a trace of spiritual energy unintentionally permeated from his hand, causing the bone to no longer be dark and instead emit a hint of jade-like radiance. This is a good thing, but I don't know what it is exactly. Lin Yi turned his head and looked at Nangong Tian. Let's have a good chat. I saw the shock in your eyes just now. Those bottles and wooden boxes contained herbs and ready-made pills. There were also some herbs in Lin Yi's storage bag. With a sneer, Lin Yi began to mix some herbs, turning them into medicinal liquid, and applied it to Nangong Tian's body. Nangong Tian, who had made up his mind not to speak, felt an unbearable itchiness all over his body, as if thousands of ants were crawling on him. At times, he also felt excruciating pain, as if every piece of his flesh was being cut by a knife. After being tortured by Lin Yi's painful methods, Nangong Tian found it difficult to resist speaking. His consciousness had already started to blur. Even if his will not to speak was strong, it was useless. In the end, he revealed what this thing was. It was a bone that could identify certain special constitutions, and it came from his aunt, Lady Shuigu. Lady Shuigu was able to be called by this name because she obtained a complete hand bone from a powerful expert that had weathered for countless years. The finger bone that Lin Yi obtained was a part of that hand bone. With the help of that hand bone, Lady Shuigu somehow managed to reach the 5th level of the qi refining stage. At the same time, for some unknown reason, his aunt gave him this bone, saying that if Nangong Tian wanted to cultivate using secret methods and had the opportunity to become a cultivator, he should find a woman who would shine brightly once this bone was near her. And Miaoyi was one of them. After Nangong Tian finished speaking, his consciousness became confused once again. Now, not only was Nangong Tian's head split open, but his intestines were also about to spill out. After Lin Yi finished everything, he no longer paid attention to him. Instead, he took the bone, the bottles and jars, and even the silver notes and left. These things were like plucking feathers from a flying goose, he couldn't leave any behind. After putting them into his storage bag, Lin Yi walked out of the water dungeon. After Lin Yi walked out, many members of the An family who were guarding the water dungeon looked at him with fear in their eyes. The screams of Nangong Tian made them feel their scalp tingling. Among them, a few people quickly returned to the water dungeon to take a glance at Nangong Tian. Afterwards, they couldn't hold it in and vomited uncontrollably. Turning back to the entrance of the water dungeon and watching Lin Yi's figure in the distance, these people couldn't help but look at each other and say, "We absolutely cannot provoke young Master Lin Yi of our and family in the future. I'm convinced, I dare not. Who would dare? But I really didn't expect that young Master Lin Yi would be so ruthless." Under their tingling scalps and fearful hearts, these people had already labeled Lin Yi as someone they couldn't provoke. Lin Yi returned to the vicinity of the council chamber. Just in time, he saw that the people of the Luo family were all despondent. Looking at him, they were sincerely fearful. They saw Luo Chengkong's injured appearance and understood that Luo Chengkong and Lin Yi had not come to an understanding. Moreover, Lin Yi had never shown any interest in the women of their Luo family, which caused a layer of gloom to settle over their hearts. Lin Yi didn't care about all this. After Luo Chengkong led the people of the Luo family away, it wasn't long before An Yingxiang returned. Knowing that Lin Yi had clashed with Luo Chengkong and had controlled him with poison, An Yingxiang was extremely excited. Lin Yi said that he had already beaten Nangong Tian to a pulp and that he would have An Miaoyi's sister-in-law avenge him. He also said that he would set up several mechanisms to ensure that the An family could resist external enemies. After that, he would leave. Listening to Lin Yi's words, An Yingxiang became anxious. The reason why An Yingxiang was so confident was that, after learning about the arrival of the demons, he initially felt a brief surprise but then believed that nothing would happen to the An family because of Lin Yi's presence. Others didn't know that Lin Yi was a cultivator in the qi refining stage, but An Yingxiang did. Now that Lin Yi was saying he wanted to leave, how could An Yingxiang not be afraid? He was worried that demons would attack. In the midst of An Yingxiang's terror, his eyes suddenly widened. "No, setting up mechanisms and formations, Lin Yi, you." His surprise and shock had never been so great before. "Are you saying that you also have knowledge of formations now? You want to set up formations in the back mountain?" Lin Yi nodded. "That's right." While An Yingxiang was still in a daze, in order to expedite his cultivation, Lin Yi didn't waste time with the old master and An Mingxuan. Instead, he used the materials in his hand to direct them to arrange some rocks and wooden stakes in the designated locations according to his instructions. After they finished the simple arrangement, under the cover of night, Lin Yi personally began to set up the formations once again. Before long, Lin Yi took out 2 pieces of spirit stone from his storage bag and placed them in key locations of these mechanisms, feeling a bit sorry for them. To be honest, the formations Lin Yi was setting up now were much higher level than the mist formation inside the cave. Especially after adding 2 pieces of spirit stone, the energy of the formations became more abundant. In Lin Yi's opinion, it should have reached the level of a yellow level low-grade formation. Even if Hong Biao, who was at the 2nd level of the qi refining stage, arrived, he wouldn't be able to break it at all. However, if Xiao Maifeng or Lady Shuigu were to come and attack, Lin Yi wasn't sure. Lin Yi turned around and, after finishing the arrangement, looked at the stunned An Yingxiang and other core members of the An family, and spoke. "All right, the formation has been set up. When the time comes, Grandpa and..." At this point, Lin Yi called An Yingxiang over and handed him a modified jade talisman, while An Yingxiang was still in a daze. "You will be in charge of this formation. All right, I will enter the formation and leave the An family from the back mountain. I will try to negotiate with the person in charge of the 100 Flowers sect and regain control of the Great Harmony town area. If there is any danger in the next few days, you should bring the main members of the An family into the formation. They should be safe. Don't worry, I will come back as soon as possible. By the way, I will prepare some medicine later. This medicine can cure Luo Chengkong's poison. If I don't come back, you can use it to control Luo Chengkong." After Lin Yi finished speaking, he quickly entered the formation. In the cave, and Miaoyi and others who were discussing Lin Yi's special physique thought that Lin Yi had left, but they didn't expect him to come back. The reason why Lin Yi came back was simple. He was itching to try the effect of this bone talisman after learning about it from Nangong Tian. Thinking that it wouldn't waste much time to come back and set up the formation again, he decided to give it a try. Outside the formation, some of An Yingxiang's juniors who were unaware of the An family's connection to immortality were swallowing their saliva, looking at An Yingxiang, waiting for his explanation. An Yingxiang held the jade talisman in his hand, his eyes wide open. Sighing, and Yingxiong turned around and said, "Do you see that? This is the awe-inspiring Lin Yi, a genius. Although Lin Yi has repeatedly exceeded my expectations, I didn't expect him to be able to set up the formation mechanism now. Remember, when you see Lin Yi in the future, you should show even more respect than when you see me, understand?" "Understood, of course, second grandfather. Don't worry, Dad, wherever Lin Yi tells me to go, I will go." "Dad, cultivators, please tell us more. Is Lin Yi a cultivator?" The An family members kept responding. Only then did An Yingxiong mention the connection to immortality, and An Mingxuan also repeated what he had said before. When all the An family members, including An Yingxiong, understood that cultivators would be the rulers of the world in the future, their expressions changed even more dramatically. Especially for those who had just learned about this, their faces turned pale. But soon, everyone started whispering to each other. Cultivators controlling the world. It used to be something that wasn't openly discussed. Now it's completely true. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Ha ha ha, we have Lin Yi. Lin Yi is also a cultivator. In the future, we will only look up to Lin Yi. Father, why don't we just make Lin Yi the head of our An family? After Lin Yi becomes the ruler, he can control Great Harmony Town and the surrounding areas. No, Lin Yi's wives, none of them are from our An family. This won't do. After a while, some of the An family members became worried because they had only heard that Lin Yi had a woman from the An family by his side, but they didn't know who she was. They had only taken a quick glance when Lin Yi first appeared. Now, Lin Yi had married into the Wang family, the Lu family, and even a woman from a peasant family, but none of the women were from the An family. Just having the identity of a grandson doesn't seem to be effective anymore. What if Lin Yi doesn't recognize Anja? To the point where they came up with this idea. At the same time, they really want to get the whole An family moving and marry all the eligible women in the An family to Lin Yi. And Yingxiong didn't mention An Miaoyi's matter. He wanted to see if there were any unworthy descendants in the An family like An Mingxuan, so he never said anything. However, the words of the crowd now made An Yingxiong's eyes light up involuntarily. At the same time, he deeply regretted it. Why didn't he think of it? It seems that when Lin Yi comes back, this matter should be arranged. Find some eligible women from the An family. And Yingxiong thought about these things in his heart, and his eyes began to shine. Smack, he slapped his son who was talking next to him. You didn't say it earlier. It's too late now. And Yingxiong held the jade token and wanted to enter the formation, but then he thought about it and decided not to go in because who knows what Lin Yi is doing now. After all four of Lin Yi's wives are in this cave, including his favorite granddaughter, An Miaoyi. At this moment, Lin Yi has already arrived at the cave and took out the powerful finger bone that his aunt, Lady Shuigu, inexplicably obtained from Nangong Tian. Sure enough, when Lin Yi touched An Miaoyi, the finger bone started to glow. Lin Yi thought for a moment and then took the finger bone to Wang Yuren, Lu Zixuan, and Zhang Mingyu. The finger bone was glowing. Lin Yi was very puzzled. Could it be that this finger bone only glows when it comes into contact with a special physique? Isn't it the same as his own descendant record? Among his descendant records, women with a comprehensive score of over 80 will be rewarded if they marry him. Based on his speculation, it means that all these women in the descendant record have special physiques or something like spirit roots. This finger bone unexpectedly has a similar effect. In that case, when he becomes stronger or encounters the so-called Lady Shuigu, he can inquire about the wonders of this bone. There must be more to it. After all, Lady Shuigu's strength has been greatly enhanced by relying on these bones. Lin Yi inexplicably wanted to meet Lady Shuigu. When the four women were a little surprised, Lin Yi explained the situation to them. The four women looked at the finger bone with curiosity rather than fear. In the meantime, Lin Yi explained some of the flaws in the formation to them. He gave them 2 jade tokens that they had just made, which can control the formation. And Yingxiong doesn't need to be on guard normally, but what if something unexpected happens? Lin Yi specifically pointed out to An Miaoyi and the other 3 women that if the formation is broken, there will be signs. The mist in the fog formation will become thinner. The thinner it gets, the more it indicates that the formation is being broken, and they should leave quickly. After the 4 women expressed their understanding, Lin Yi smirked. Without saying a word, he used his accurate body to entangle with the women again. To end the battle quickly, this time it didn't take as long. When the 4 women were unconscious due to the fight, Lin Yi refined the medicine and handed it to An Miaoyi. This medicine can control Luo Chengkong. It's better to give it to someone from the An family, and An Miaoyi is the most trustworthy. At the same time, Lin Yi left a piece of spirit stone for the 4 women to cultivate. An environment full of spiritual energy is also beneficial for martial Dao cultivation. With this, Lin Yi only has 6 low-grade spirit stones left, but it should be enough for him. The various bottles and jars he found at Nangong Tian's place contained some medicinal materials that were even stronger than those in the medicinal field. Lin Yi kept them in his storage bag. Taking advantage of the 4 women being asleep, Lin Yi left. Become stronger. Marry wives and concubines, become stronger. Currently, the only way to become stronger is this. So, my goal is to marry as many women as possible who have the potential to reach the 80-point mark in the descendant record. Well, in addition to my original goal of infiltrating the 100 Flowers sect, which has mostly female disciples, according to Qin Yao's suggestion, although the 100 Flowers sect seems to be a reputable sect on the surface, they also have brothels. Without any contacts, I will try to go there and find a courtesan. If that doesn't work, I'll use intelligence and spend some money. Even if the brothel is not affiliated with the 100 Flowers sect, I can still find out where the 100 Flowers sect's stronghold is in Cottonwood City from the complex network of relationships in the brothel. Lin Yi felt that there was no one else to find. In order to prevent himself from not being able to easily find someone from the 100 Flowers sect, he actually thought of the brothel first. Why does it feel like he's becoming a dirty old man? Is it because he has fought with the 4 wives too much? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.